to slight gains here this morning as Election Day in the U.S. has arrived. Could be a little bit on the quiet side as we head throughout the day today. That being said, a ton of things to talk about as far as individual movers this morning. We'll hit on Palantir, absolutely monster to the upside this morning. DJT moving around here as expected ahead of what is to come. Let's be honest, probably not by the end of today, maybe tomorrow, maybe the next day, we'll get some sort of results. But Tesla as well, I wanted to mention, there's a look at the overall market right now, 0.37 for the NASDAQ, trying to get back to the upside right now. Tesla to the upside as well. Interesting comments on the Joe Rogan podcast from Elon Musk yesterday as well. We'll talk about Tesla coming up here in a little bit. A number of names to the downside in a pretty big way this morning. MQ, the biggest one, absolutely crushed, 36% right now on a bad report from them. But yeah, the day has arrived. The waiting is over. It's election day. The market is kind of hanging out, seeing what's going to happen over the next 24, maybe 36 hours. Dara in the chair this morning with me. Sharif will be back with us by the midday this morning. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. An exciting day. There's lots to get into. Anything catching your eye here so far this morning?
I think some of those earnings misses, you mentioned MQ, but I know CE, Celanese, got hit hard yesterday as well. We also had LSCC, Lattice Semiconductors. There's a couple other earnings misses from last night, down pretty significantly. In terms of beats, that we also had HIMSS and Hers Health, HIMS, and A-Lab, Astera Labs there, which is a pretty recent IPO as well. There could be some interesting earnings moves too.
Yeah, we're beyond most of the major tech earnings at this point, outside of the semiconductor group. But yeah, we'll touch on some of these earnings names still flying around here. That MQ is still on the downside right now. There's Boeing, the other major storyline this morning, 1.82%, given back most of it though already. Was up to 160. The strike has ended finally. Looks like, what was it, 58, 59% voting in favor of this latest deal, 38% pay increase finally being accepted for these workers. Hopefully they can get back to making planes. Good news for Boeing this morning, guys. Good morning.
Good morning. Fancy that. They get back to business, Boeing. But I actually, it's a little bit of a muted response, to be honest, with Boeing, at least for now. I mean, I guess it's going to be early. But hey, it's election day. That means DJT's in play. That Astera Labs was wild. You had some big moves to the upside, Astera and Palantir. And then to the downside, as already mentioned, that Marqeta, yikes. Nasty, nasty, nasty. But as we speak, you got a long time to go till election night, and there's a lot to cover. So, you know, just because there's something to look forward to doesn't mean you look past what's in front of you. And, you know, it's not, you can't ignore DJT today. Someone literally sitting on the bid right now for 200,000 shares at like 37.23, and then Palantir with a 48 break just now as well. So it's going to be wild. Volatility is still going to be in play for us.
Yeah, we're already in the money here, 30 cents. On Palantir, and we actually have shares this time because it's pre-market and we like it. There it is, man. We are well now cruising. This could already be the #1 stock here today. This is already a big play here. So we're already in the money now, 35 cents as Palantir continues to go higher. So yeah, man, I'm trading this as if it's open right now. Broke through some levels. I wrote down the #1 trade here on the sticky note was 47.75. It already broke that. That's where we're long. So there goes Palantir right now, right to the upside. Look at this stock go, guys. Wow, what a quarter, what a day for PLTR, and we continue to get higher and higher and higher. Now into the 30s now. This is not going to stop right here. Spin it early for all of us that own this name. And if you're trading it here this morning, this is already a 50-cent winner here, Brenda. What a big quarter for PLTR. And I mean, I took the questions yesterday, and it was about what did we think where the risk was and which way would we like. I mean, take advantage of that recent dip down there on the daily and Palantir, on the daily and Palantir as we talked about yesterday. And there it goes right there to the upside. So still glad that we have pretty much this whole position on, and what a move upside there. Wow, Palantir continues to go. So we just got a piece out on the top there. Again, what did we get? We got 28. So again, a big number there for Palantir. 6 cents, nice little beat there, surpassing 4 cents. 2.80 billion versus 2.809. The guide.
The guide.
So, I mean, yeah, it's going to be.
Guide.
That's a lot. That's a lot. So we're pretty happy with Palantir coming through today, up nicely, 40, 50 cents, but very, very risky to be involved with earnings plays. That's why we come in today and we trade them. We shorted 42s yesterday on Palantir and made money. So think about that. Now it's at $48. So yesterday, Palantir, I think, was P&L number 3, and it was all shorts, and it was all at 42. Now today, probably going the other way there. So we're out of only a third of this Palantir play, but it's a nice one to the upside.
Right, a lot to discuss. Yeah, I mean, Palantir, absolutely impressive across the board. We had Edge TI on the show yesterday, little name on the venture exchange here in Toronto. Shout out to CTRL. You guys want to check that out, the baby Palantir being labeled for Edge TI. Totally shift gears here, but I'm really curious today, or maybe we won't know today, but in the coming days to see the coverage of the election, where people go this year, because I know this is the first election that, you know, I've been paying attention to anyways, where there's a lot more options for where you can actually go and, you know, get updates and get the data. I mean, there's a lot of very popular podcasts that are going to be doing, you know, live coverage of the election as it's happening tonight. There's a broadcast on Amazon Prime, which was, I can't remember his name right now, who's hosting it, but I'll find that out. But and then obviously traditional media as well. But it'll be, you know, interesting to see over the next couple of days here where the actual audience goes to get, you know, coverage of this tonight.
And you have so many options too, you know, social media as well. There's apparently Meta's not even allowed to air election day ads up until election day. I saw an article about that yesterday. There'll be so many different options. It also depends too, because some of these might be more biased, right? So it depends, are you looking for an unbiased take? Are you looking for a bit of a different approach? I know Andy Jassy, during the Amazon earnings call, mentioned the Amazon Prime stream. So that could be a new one to watch as well. That's actually, I totally forgot that until you mentioned it. So
yeah.
Options.
Yeah. Thanks, Neil. Neil just letting me know. It's Brian Williams is the one who's going to be hosting the Amazon Prime live stream on Prime Video. So lots of options. Just real quick, there was a note on this as well. Also Trump related, PHUN upside here, impressive 7% this morning. New chairman being appointed for PHUN this morning, guys.
Yeah, like you can have a wealth of options to watch, but like we said, that's not till aftermarket, right? So, and I think, look, if you're trading aftermarket and you hear real trading, you're going to have the option of Blue Ocean for some available symbols. I'm sure Tesla's going to have some moves. DJT is going to probably move around. The futures market, the first time Trump was elected, the futures market actually halted at one point and had a tremendous amount of volatility. So I think there's going to be an opportunity there, but until you get there, like fun, I mean, it's not really doing a lot of volume in the pre-market. So I know it's gapped up and it's a sympathy play, but 400,000 shares on a $7 stock. I just went to plug for some reason. I guess I have plug on my brain. No, DJT has done 8 million shares worth of volume. 400,000, 8 million. Palantir's done 4.8 million, 5 million shares pre-market. So, you know, Funware I like as a sympathy play to follow along a little bit, where when DJT does like obvious little curls, like this one in here, you try to take some shorts in fun, and it tends to fall a little bit easier. But DJT, I think, is the one that's going to be a little bit more active here. Much better liquidity. Obviously, it's done a decent bounce from yesterday, but not nearly anywhere, just not even close to where those highs were. So there's a pretty sizable gap. And if you note yesterday's trade, it went right into Friday's resistance, even a little bit on Thursday to that 36 level, and now you're holding out about and above it. So as long as it holds on at 36, looking longs until it gets to 44. Like 44, that little double barrel action, I think that's the first place to look for some kind of a pullback or a mean reversion. Forget about 40 is just a round number. It's that 44 I think is going to stand out. So follow the volume. Funware might be gapped up, but if you can't even do 1 million shares, you're supposed to be a DJT follower on election day, and it's gapped up and doing 500,000 shares at best. I think DJT is the one that you got to be involved in if you got to pick an election type name here. Yeah, Funware, no fun with no vol.
It'll be up in a couple seconds, but DJT is on the list here for a trade today. And what I was looking at now, I mean, now we're starting to go back upside again. I was just thinking this is going to be a volatile day as you know, people start polls start coming out, exit polls and whatnot, I think there's going to be an opportunity to definitely get into this name. I was looking more down here where yesterday's close was for areas of support. So that's what I've written down. Let's play if we can get into this like 34, 33 area down into here where we held yesterday afternoon, right? As they digest like the Iowa poll and all that kind of stuff. So I just wait to see if we can hold back in here. The good thing about it is if you don't start to worry about it till 35, 34, 33, then hopefully your average price, you're only taking about $1 or $2 hit if it does eventually break what I think is this bottom here, 32.50. So to me, 32.50 is interesting, but I think you want to start your buying, you know, between 35 and 33, with 33 being the best opportunity. Then you can hold a little bit past this 32.50. So DJT once again here, going to be on watch, and we're all over it, and it's going to be on the sticky note. And Palantir, by the way, is, there we go. I mean, this is quite the run up there. Expected return was 13% there yesterday. So now you're up 17 here today and continuing to go higher, man. We could have our first on a good position here, first dollar. And I mean, we're still going. I mean, it's got $50 in sight right now for PLTR. So really glad that we came in here, got long, got confident on the name, and there it goes to the upside, Palantir. So good trading here today. Might be up more in the pre-market here than we were yesterday, and it's just sometimes it's just lucky like that. Palantir gets a lot of action going through. We bought it 3 times, man. We wrote down 48.75. We liked that pre-market break. We took it 3 times. So there it goes. Nice upside move on Palantir.
All right, let's touch on some ADR action here this morning, because I noticed especially the EVs very, very strong here. NIO, XPeng, and Li Auto all to the upside, 3.1% here. For NIO. There's not much today. It's worth noting, this is the economic calendar, kind of on the light side. This morning we did get some trade balance data at 8:30 when we came on there. S&P Global Composite PMI coming up at 9:45. And then 10 o'clock ISM version of that, the PMI for October. That's pretty much it for today. It's worth noting the Fed typically Tuesday, Wednesday. This week because of the election, Wednesday, Thursday. So Fed decision coming up Thursday afternoon. We got that note after the close yesterday on NIO, a hybrid coming from NIO taking on BYD, obviously. I mean, Sharif has talked about that quite a bit. The simple fact that everyone compares Tesla, specifically in China, everyone compares Tesla to BYD primarily. BYD sells both, you know, traditional ICE engines plus hybrids as well, in addition to electric vehicles. So NIO jumping in that market.
Yeah, it's basically, I guess, the difference between the pure EV play and the hybrid, right? So it makes sense. BYD had a stellar month of October sales and deliveries from what I saw, especially compared to Tesla, which actually had a bit of a drop. But the other thing I'm seeing coming out of China is the Financial Times is reporting China's lawmakers actually apparently just have started this week-long session. They're expected to deliberate on what is expected to be the country's most extensive fiscal stimulus since the pandemic. So some stimulus deliberation also on watch here. We saw the giant run up that these ADRs had on the initial stimulus news and speculation starting September 24th. So now just a little bit over a month later, we might get some more news.
I forgot about those animations that we had those. Yeah, go hit subscribe, guys. We're almost at 480,000 subscribers. XPeng here, pretty good 3-day move. Meanwhile, 5% here this morning. We're all the way back to almost $13 once again for XPEV.
Yeah, actually, you know, look, I've looked at NIO recently. I've looked at Li Auto recently, but XPeng, not a bad little bounce. And I was going to put up NIO, but that's fine. We're going to talk about XPeng, I guess, first. But unlikely to be trading XPeng when it's doing, like I said, 500,000 worth of volume on a day where you're going to have a lot of volatility. You're going to have so many names that are going to be doing much better vol. But I do like the fact that it's broken some lower highs in here and higher lows, lower highs, and now breaking back out above $12.50. You just need some kind of a catalyst. And you got to watch out when the Chinese EVs, or it's not just the Chinese EVs, when the Chinese names tend to gap up like this, you need to be careful. That's an obvious level at $12.50. Like if it loses this $12.50, we've seen these things go and just sell off at the open. So I think XPeng, you got to watch for that 12.5. It's kind of clean as a double top in there on that gap. NIO's a very, very different story. Hybrid or no hybrid, it doesn't really matter for them. A little bit late to that game. And look, they got a battle, but at least it's battling the $5 pretty well. if you're looking at, this is so similar to Rivian in a lot of sense, where that $10 where we've been able to buy Rivian and it's not giving you that much. With NIO, it's like $5. And then it seems to have some trouble at 535. If this can get above 540, hey, much more interesting. The last time it did that, it gave you at least one good day of long and then came right back in. I think you look for that same price area here on NIO or XPeng, if you happen to be looking at them. I just think today there's just more volume elsewhere.
You're up 18% right now. Palantir is now $1.15 in the money and going higher right now. What a name here, PLTR. We talked about that control yesterday, CTRL and the venture exchange, Edge TI, but this is an absolute monster here again today. Oh man, good day to hold Palantir shares, good day to trade Palantir shares. We also have a play, I'm just getting the sticky note ready to go right now, but I like FXI today. So as we start talking a little bit more about China, I'm sure we'll get over this and I'll explain to you the levels and what I like here with FXI, but I'm over the moon right here with Palantir. We just got to fill their 88s on the upside. So we're long 47.76 right here. And we got 48.88 right there to get a little bit out there. So what a good job. And Boeing also, I see that in the chat. Boeing is also on the sticky note. We have Boeing, we have Palantir, we have some DJT, we have some FXI and some surprises here today. So I'll get that out very, very soon, but we got to go over to the desk. We got a guest.
There he is, back with us on a very important day. Mitch Oak, analyst over at Trade the Pool. I mean, where do we start here, Mitch? There's so much to talk about this morning, so much to cover. From a market standpoint, I think it's worth noting, Sean was mentioning, could see some volatility if we start getting headlines, could see, just a wait and see kind of a day before we get, more information. From an overall market standpoint, what are you expecting today?
Yeah, one of the things is today's going to be one of those days where price action leads, right? Where it's not so much about the catalyst and you don't have to worry too much about catalyst. You got to be more focused on what's moving. And that's especially important on days like today where we're just looking at what's going to happen. It's an event trade, right? We don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, but we will be watching the scanners, especially on a day like today, just to see what's moving, right? That's why traders are watching Palantir this morning. That's why traders are watching DJT, right? Because it's moving. And those are the stocks that you want to trade on a day like today when a lot of people are concerned and on the sidelines.
Let's drill into those. Palantir, first off, huge move higher here on a monster report across the board. As you said, though, it might be more about the price action versus, the fundamental side of things here in the earnings report itself.
Yeah, this one came off of a weekly high that I thought would hold, which would be that 45, but we really quickly came right back up, right? The earnings helping it here. And this is also a Trump stock. Don't get this wrong. Palantir, I think, is definitely more towards the Trump name, right? So if Palantir, for some reason, if Trump doesn't win, right, well, I'd be a little bit concerned about this coming right back down tomorrow. But today, that actually leaves room for more momentum to the upside, right? As long as there's no one trying to come in here and thinking that I'm going to short Palantir, which I highly doubt because it keeps breaking new highs. And so it would essentially go against all technical outlook to short it here. If anything, I'm sure you guys are looking at Sean going long, and I'm thinking the same thing here, at least for the short term being, right? So we got to keep an eye out on that action. But there's not only these trades in the Trump trades, right? There's the defensive trade with Lockheed Martin also. This is that play, right? Defense supporting from, of course, Trump would help push into that area. There's other areas also that could be affected with this. I'm wanting to go towards an outlook here. So oil is another area that Trump could definitely help out, as he will be pushing for more domestic oil. So that could help on Exxon Mobil and Chevron get a nice lift. Then, of course, you got the firearms manufacturers to keep an eye out for today. You got Smith & Wesson, you got Vista Outdoors, VSTO. So keep your eyes on those. Those could get the move if, of course, you're leaning towards Trump winning. And today, I think what you look for is, do any of these move before the action happens, right? And then, of course, the last thing, and it's a must. It's a make it or break it for Elon, right? What's going to happen here? Because he's supported, of course, Trump so much that if for any reason Trump doesn't win, will Tesla get a whacking tomorrow? Or maybe it gets the lift beforehand because people think that Trump's going to win here. So I think that you keep an eye out on this trade. This one's going to be moving also. An unexpected mover, I think, from the election is going to be Tesla. I know you can watch Ford and GM, but to tell you the truth, it's all about Elon here.
Yeah, weakness continuing over the past couple of weeks here for Tesla back below that 250 area. From a technical standpoint, I mean, let's approach this not necessarily for Tesla specifically, but from a technical standpoint, any of those names you just mentioned, it's really hard to, sit here with 40 minutes to go before the open and say, if this happens, I want to get long, or if this happens, I want to get long on a list of 20 stocks. Playing pure price action from that point, it's really easy to find yourself trying to chase something in the moment.
Yeah, and that's how it's going to be today. I got to be honest. There's going to be tons of traders chasing the action, right? That's just what it is on a day like today, because there's just the uncertainty at play, right? Take a look into the China trade, right? You guys know I've been swinging BABA, still have it from 99. It's back towards 100. And trust me, if Harris wins, it's great for China. And I'm looking awesome, right? And you guys were just talking about it, about potential stimulus that could be coming from China. So I got to hang in on that swing trade. That's going to be my one bet for this election. And I think that that's what you're seeing right now. You'll see some traders take a swing trade or two to just put a bet out there. Is it risky? Yes, because the truth is it's 50-50. Flip the coin and see what happens.
What do you need to see today, Mitch, to really give you confidence in a move versus, any other day of the year where we sit here, we plan, we say, here's the levels we like, here's how I'm going to approach that trade. What do you need to see specifically today to give you that confidence?
Well, there's one trade, only one trade I really see out there that has the support of both sides, and that's the crypto play. And that's where I think we got to be paying attention to today to see if it makes the run ahead of the election. Because in the way that I see this is that both are supporting crypto. And with that being said, we don't necessarily have to wait to see the run. The run could happen today. So CleanSpark, MSTR, Mara, those three are the three that I would be keeping a close eye on today. And of course, you guys know Trump's been making the mention, right, to make America the crypto capital of the planet. So we got to keep watch on that today. Maybe it gets to run because it feels like that, right? Where it's going to get the support if the Democrats win or the Republicans win. That's the trade to keep an eye out for.
One of those days possibly where you catch a few movers out of the gate at 9:30, but maybe take your foot off the pedal, if you will, going into the later parts of the morning.
Selling the momentum is going to be a great one today, right? Because the truth is that this is a day where really, let's be honest, this is one of those days where you just want to be trying to make a little bit, right? This is not that make a ton money today, because the truth is that you have that uncertainty at play, right? You're not going to probably overnight all these names. You will ride the momentum in the intraday, and that's what we do as day traders, right? At Trade the Pool, like always, we're more focused on the day trading action. We do have the swing trade action, and you guys hear me talk about BABA. I love talking intermarket analysis, but the truth of the matter is I'm watching the scanners. I'm watching smaller names, ZVSA this morning. I'm still in the red right now, but we'll see what happens, right? This is that type of day. You look for momentum. Palantir, DJT, those are going to be the top names. And that's what's going to be watched today. Other names will be choppy. And to tell you the truth, I want to stay out of the chop. So I got to see names that are holding momentum, especially like a 9 EMA. That's one thing to focus on today. Focus on those stocks that go ripping up and hold that 9 EMA on the pullback. That shows you momentum there, and you can maybe look for a play.
Yeah, caution needed across the board, I think, today. Great stuff as always. Mitch Hoke, what's happening lately over at Trade the Pool?
Yeah, Trade the Pool, we're doing it all, guys. One of the things is we have this brand new limited, guys. You can't miss it. One of the things is giving you the opportunity really to go after something with a risk profile of 900, profit target of 1350. It's not bad at all, right? At the end of the day, the opportunity is there, and you guys see me getting after it every single day. And like always, guys, one thing that I will tell you guys is that it's not easy to trade, right? And a day like today, you need to be what? Capital preservation focused, right? Because what's going to happen is once we get through this, it's actually going to be more, let's press the gas pedal. Let's go after it. Let's go trading. So I think that that's what you need to be watching today. And of course, we all know how it's going to work out today. It's going to be by 11 o'clock. By then, they'll start to think who's in the lead. Really, the futures traders have it hard because they'll be up early and trying to get after it. And I think the 4 a.m. is going to be a very important price to watch tomorrow. So if there's any day you want to come in early, it's tomorrow.
Yeah, I think you nailed it. Maybe overnight even, we could see some wild swings across the board. Mitch Hoke, always a pleasure. We'll see you again next week.
Have a great time, guys. Trade the pool. Check it out.
Yeah, thanks a lot there, Mitch. And you're definitely right. And that's why I was looking at you look at some names, and we were even talking about like some Chinese ADRs are gapping around and they're not doing any volume. And there's going to be a lot of chop today. There's no question about it. But that's where the earnings names come into play. That's where I think the look in Bitcoin is an interesting one. And again, we can talk about, I'll talk about IBIT just very quickly but I wanted to point out that support on BTC, or what was support on BTC, is temporarily turned into a little bit of a resistance. It was 1 or 2 days where that breakout trend line at 69,000 held for some bounce zones, and all of a sudden it's looking like a little bit of resistance. And if it can punch through that, and we are a couple $100 away from making that little bit of a press. So you broke out, got to effectively the all-time high, pull right back under, and now you're underneath the trend line. On IBIT, which is what I'm watching, it's got to get above like 39.5 in here. Like if it can do that, then you've got some real good room to run. Will it make an all-time high before the election? Pretty much no chance that that's going to happen, but certainly this should be on watch for sure. We had a couple of super chats in that I wanted to make sure that I got to here, and we appreciate all of the questions, all the super chats. I want to shout out Vasil, I want to shout out D. Westermeyer and Zenod, all three of them here. First one was just take a look at Palantir. So I know you're going to be able to address that. About yesterday, you're talking about whether you should hold it. You have calls until January. Everything on earnings, usually let it settle down a little bit. The initial reaction, A, is big. B, you have to have your own time frame in mind. Are you trading? Are you investing? Those are two different beasts. And then remember, the election is going to move some things around for sure. So, and we have the Fed as well. So you definitely want to see what happens after the next couple of days on any type of earnings play. Mr. Westermeyer, you said you remember when Arun was on, he said the election overnight was an incredible futures trading opportunity. Any advice? The one that he was referring to was the first time that Trump was elected, and the futures essentially went limit down. And what made that trade incredibly unique was when they opened back up, it was like an easy bounce play for everyone to take. That was incredibly unique. I don't think it'll be exactly the same kind of thing. There'll be volatility, I'm sure, but I don't think you'll see something very similar to that where you'd actually get a limit down halt on the futures. I think that was a unique situation the first time through. And then Zenot asking about BNOX. I will cop to not having looked at BNOX. It's just a penny stock runner here.
17%.
We'll definitely look at it. It's trying to challenge that 50-cent mark for it, but I haven't looked at it yet.
That one.
You just pew.
Sharif is in the building now.
I always keep one ahead.
I know, you always waste. There's always.
No, I keep one ahead. Then I eat this one, and then let's.
Right. You like the ultra.
So I like it a little bit more, right?
Yeah.
So I have a Q. Banana Q. I mean, okay, yes. I think it works, man. I just, sometimes people like it with the green. I like it a little bit more, right? So, it's perfect.
I'm getting an order out to sell some Palantir here in my own account here, but all right, so we can get it a limit order out a lot higher than where we are right now. 17%, my guy. How's it going, Randy? Yeah. Thanks for the big election day. You going to go vote?
No, I'm gonna pass.
Yeah, don't try to go vote. No. Because here we don't really have the opportunity to vote on the U.S. election.
Oddly enough.
Watching this side of the fence. We have popcorn.
I mean, it could affect the autos, right? I mean,
it's gonna, yeah.
EV name for sure.
There's a lot of potential here. Let's put it that way.
XOM, because
yes.
Obviously oil's gonna be a big deal. The more drilling potentially could come in. You've heard drill baby drill. XOM already looking pretty good. You're still in, obviously.
A lot of administration policy here that's going to have, I think, a broad effect on a number of industries and a number of sectors. And I think, in the coming weeks, we're going to see volatility either way. I think there's a lot of outliers here that we need to look at, and a lot of things to discuss.
Lots to discuss. Also, when Rivian breaks 10 on earnings on Thursday. I believe it is Thursday that they report. Thanks, Randy.
Yes.
No, yeah, it is Thursday.
One of those days.
It's this week. I get November 7th. Like, how do I forget? It's my mother's birthday.
That's right. You always say that. That's right.
It's so true.
How did you forget that?
Thursday's going to be a wild day. No, that BNOX, just very quickly, I know we got a super chat over this one. And again, I haven't looked at the story for BNOX. But yeah, the 50-cent level, A, psychological, B, a kind of a big support to resistance type level as well. And even if it busts that, 70 looks even spicier. So holding on to 45.50 would be very important. It's done big volume and it's holding on to VWAP, so higher lows are good. We talked about that in the lesson for gappers specifically, that you want to make sure that they're still actually trending up and not trending down going into the open. This one is at least trending up, so that's a good sign. The ones that are trending down, usually want to sit those out for the first 10, 15 minutes at the open.
Let me just check out. Palantir's coming down a little bit, might give us an opportunity to reload this. We are out of now about 70% of it. Okay, so here we go. DJT, just want to check out what the temperature was over here. Still up that 9% right here, trying to get a little bit higher. We just got a little bit more out at Palantir at 48.30s as it's trying to go back to the upsides. Okay, so just wanted to check out on DJT, and then of course we talked about Funware as well, just to see what was going on, 740. So both of these names not moving around too much as we get ready to go. An interesting name for me to look at, another name that we're invested in here is SMR. We had that news yesterday with Amazon, but SMR yesterday in the last couple of days, nicely back in off that $22 level. Really want to wait out for earnings on these guys. I still think they're in play to get bought. New scale right here, SMR. All right, so there it is, Palantir. We just talked about it. We got out another piece right there. Every piece we get out now will be probably about 5% of our total. We did get out of a lot in and around that 48.75 area for that dollar. We have a nice one at 48.90, but coming back in Palantir just for a minute. And I like what Mitch was talking about there. It's funny because obviously we don't connect, but he said the two names that you would want to trade today. And it's like, again, maybe there's some connection between me and Mitch here that I need to look into a little bit more. But right here, he said the two names today to look at, Palantir and DJT. So the top two names that we have here on our sticky note, and then plus go vote. Boeing and FXI, we'll talk about some of these names as we go. But interesting and awesome to have Mitch on there today. Thanks for that. And go check out Trade the Pool. And let's go back over to the desk.
Palantir, let's get into everything else we need to know here as we head towards the open on what should be pretty exciting, maybe a couple of days here, not necessarily even just today. If you haven't done so, top link in the description of this video gets you to the watch list. All you need is your email address, comes right to your inbox every single day for free. Yep, Palantir is top of said watch list today, 16.5% if you haven't looked yet. For Palantir, coming back into 48 right now, trying to hold on a bit of a pullback here after that last break to the upside across the board, a beat for Palantir. Pretty impressive numbers, really.
Oh, so impressive. I didn't see any metric on which they missed. They beat top and bottom line here. They beat revenue estimates. They beat earnings per share estimates. Total revenue up 30% year over year. U.S. revenue, 44% increase there. Commercial revenue in the U.S., 54%. Government revenue, 40%. Sorry, customer count up 39%. Now the guidance as well here. Fiscal 2024 revenue guidance, above estimates here, as well as their Q4 guidance. From what I was seeing here when I was doing some reading, it seems like a lot of people are attributing this move up, not as much to that revenue beat, which was stellar, but more so to the really strong guidance. So they see this continuing up. Great report across the board. I found no misses.
Yeah, I mean, we've already seen the strength there. Just reading an interesting note from our friends over at the Intercontinental Exchange, ICE, who owns the NYSE. October 2024, guys, the highest volume month in history with a record 209 million contracts traded across futures and options. That's not nothing.
I mean, we saw that with Robinhood, and we saw some of those numbers come through. IBKR had record returns and earnings, and so did Schwab. So, I mean, some of these plays there definitely getting interested with options. And I think that that's what Palantir, a lot of what sort of spurns this trade as well, is that it's been popular for a minute. This is a cult stock. I mean, and I thought that when Jim Cramer named this a cult stock, I was like, perfect. get part of it. I mean, we've been part of this for a minute, right? So Palantir, a huge move up. I still do hear Adara in our ear, which is no problem. But there it goes. Nice move to the upside there for Palantir today. As Adara said, it's nice to see that all the contracts aren't coming from commercial sides of things and government contracts. They're now starting to split it up here, some private sector, some commercial, to match that government side of things. So it's a real nice move for Palantir. We got that inclusion into the S&P 500. Alex Karp came on and was talking with L3 Harris and talking all about defense. And we see right now, I wonder if part of the move up, and we've talked about this here, not just today, I mean, Palantir was getting hit. And we actually talked about how we liked the quarter yesterday before it happened, just because of the setup. But again, it was only down 10%. If they missed, probably would have been, you know, a little worse than that. We talked about maybe buying some if we got into 35. Good luck with that. But Palantir just continues to go higher here. I'm long, so it's broken, right? No matter, we can talk about the quarter, it doesn't matter, it's in the past. Let's talk about the future, and that's what I said. Some people will talk about it, some traders will trade it. Well, if you're gonna trade this name today, and you're not long here, I think this is almost just a reload spot. So the money's in the pocket now, it's a big trade, but we wanna make more, and we wanna take an opportunity if it comes in. So the trade for me is always very simple. When there's earnings and you like the play, you wait for that gap to come back in here to VWAP. So that's what we're gonna do. That's what it is right here. You can play a little more aggressive if you want to take the 50-period moving average, which is 48.12. But at the end of the day, this 47 and change is right there. I put an order in my own account to sell some at 49.50. So if it gets up there in and around 50 bucks, let's sell it out. We're long this name sub 10 bucks. So this has been a big, huge move. It's making a difference. So I don't want to just stare at this profit and let some of it, you know, disappear. So I'm going to take a little bit off here, like maybe 10% or so in my account, if we could get near that 50 buck mark. If we don't, here's fine as well. So nice move to the high side here for Palantir. It's been made a real big difference for my investment account, and you know, really proud and happy that we've been talking about this for a very long time. So congratulations, everybody.
Hat.
The hat's around here somewhere.
So look, I'm not too much to add to that, except for, you know, I like to dip into 46. And only that, and then I like VWAP as well, but for almost a different reason. It's essentially just a confirmation level as well above that prior high on PLTR. Not really looking at any reversion trades on Palantir. I think the 50, some people are probably going to look to take some profit, but as long as it holds on a trend, want to look for some dip buys in Palantir. There was a question in the chat. Someone was asking about Palantir and the hack ETF. And all I will say is when I looked it up, and I was surprised too, Palantir's not in the hack ETF. And there was actually, I looked up the holdings, and there's also, I mean, there's a couple of websites you can look. One of them like ETF.com. Now, we're not affiliated. You can actually check to see like what ETFs are a stock in. Yeah. So you can search for Palantir and then see what it's in and what it's not in. But no, it's not in the hack ETF, which is a bit strange for me, although I feel like at some point it's going to get added to it. But it's in like 200 different ETFs. So ideally, you hold on to VWAP and you hold on to trend. If you lose VWAP, what I said in my note, if you lose VWAP, 46. 46 was the prior high in the daily. 46 was where support came in the aftermarket right towards the end of the show. So I think that's going to make a lot of sense if it does any kind of larger gap fill on Palantir. And none of the ETFs that I looked at that it was in are more interested than watching it itself.
All right. As far as the election trade is concerned, a ton of things we can look at individually. I mean, Mitch brought the Tesla angle up when we were speaking to him. If you missed that, just go back and listen to his comments on Tesla back below 250 here. I mean, it was kind of a nothing day when all was said and done yesterday. We test lower, we test higher, we end the day basically flat. Elon Musk on Rogan yesterday with some controversial comments. If you haven't seen that, go look that up. We don't need to dig into it, but we'll see how this plays out for Tesla. I mean, fundamentally, the company's still the company.
Yeah, Tesla's really interesting too. I was just actually saying to Brendan off screen, one of the comments that was made here, I guess Elon Musk was asked if Tesla would do a phone. He said they wouldn't, but they could if they have to. So interesting note there, potential Tesla phone somewhere down the line. I think one of the more interesting names here though could be Phunware. We did have on Monday morning a filing here with announcing that its CFO Troy Reisner going to step down sometime between November 15th and November 30th. They also this morning announced this new global technology and AI leader who's going to be their chairman of their board. So potential AI push for Funware. The other Trump-related trades on watch include names like INTC, TSM. There's also crypto, which we're going to get into in the next item here. So there's really a lot of different ways this can be played.
Yeah, different angles to take today, guys. What are we looking at? I mean, Tesla, the most popular, probably just below 250 here.
Well, I mean, if you're talking election trades, I mean, the purest in terms of volume and volatility and move is going to be DJT, which we went over a little bit already. So with that being said, I mean, Tesla, I get it, the Elon endorsement angle, but it is trading a bit on its own after earnings, and we don't want to lose sight of that. So I think in the long term, let's try to separate any hype from, you know, the good move that it had off earnings, which was Tesla had a fantastic quarter. So it doesn't really matter. I know it's pulling right back in the 50 period, I guess doesn't come into play after this gap up. I thought that move failing at 47 was going to get us a test of the 50 period today. With the gap up, that's not going to happen. It's just that 250 level. 250 is where you didn't get to yesterday, and then 255 up top. You bust through 250, the reversion waits to 55. Now, yesterday, my mistake was not waiting for it to get for the level to revert, such that by the time we got the reversion trade, it was like the fifth one that I was in. So essentially went like 1 for 5. And ultimately, I got half of it back on that one trade. But I want to wait for it to get to those key levels. So you can see 250 is a big line. And then the other one is going to be just slightly underneath the 255 level as Tesla gets to the upside. So that's what I want to wait for. DJT, we kind of already went over that one, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. Like, as long as it holds on at 36, I think that one looks pretty good. And only looking at Funware for when DJT feels like a little bit of a sell. And if there's anything else that you guys think is an election play, let us know. But if you want to let us know in the chat, you got to be a subscriber to be in the chat. So hit that subscribe, join the conversation, join the fun, no pun intended, with some Funware and DJT here today. So hit that like, hit that subscribe. And while the water is nice and warm.
Yeah, so Palantir right back up to near that $49 mark again. So we're taking a little bit more out right there. So for me, for DJT, I just want to see it fall back into some of these areas. Yesterday, we had a big move early. It made that move up to 32, then fell all the way back in to 29. So it fell 10% before eventually getting going. So there's the move up yesterday to start with. There's the fall back in, right? And so where did we fall back into? 29 bucks. I don't know if there's any sort of, you know, meaning for that. I don't know if I don't think we're going to get to that level today. We could. And if we do, then hopefully I'm not long. But that's the move. So I was just thinking, if you fall that 10% again here today off the open, maybe you halt, maybe you don't. But if it does, then it puts us right back into yesterday's close, which is what I wrote down as a level. So I'm bidding there. We're going to be bidding around 34 bucks. We'll see if it wants to hold this $33 is what I wrote on the sticky note as like sort of the Alamo, where we wanted to make sure that we were long in and around this level. And then if it falls in, we'll have to see how it goes. Obviously, catching a falling knife is a different story than it kind of hovering around here and then eventually popping. But at the end of the day, I feel like if we're below this 32 or 32.50 level, then you got to get out. So you are starting to pull back just a little bit from the highs. The high today is $38 and change. But if you're going to look at the daily chart, it's been a wild ride. So, you know, if the numbers and the polls come out and maybe Trump starts to be winning more than they thought out of these exit polls potentially, if those mean anything, then I could see a good run. That's 39.50 right there, and we're not too far away from that now. So 39.50, I think, is a decent spot to get out of some of the longs and then hold if you think it's going to break through that 40. So for me, I like a dip down in and around that 7-8% down into where we were yesterday's close, and that happened yesterday. So maybe it happens again today, and we be patient with it. If it wants to halt up, I think you get involved in the first halt and you try to buy it. We will have DJT up over on the side here. I'll make sure I'll switch it with my McDonald's. I don't know why that was there. It must have been an old one from earnings. And I still have I have AMD here instead of NVIDIA for some reason. But anyways, $34 bidding now for DJT. The bid's in. So if it gets down there, I'm going long.
All right, crypto moving around here this morning. We're back to pre-market highs here for IBIT. If you're keeping an eye on the ETFs itself, 2.3%. Some of the equities related to this also back to the upside after 2, 3, even 4, if you want to call it that, days to the downside.
Yeah, it's a pretty, depending on what you look at. I remember I was looking at TradingView this morning. It showed, according to that was like a 6-day down streak where we actually reached as low as 66.5, I believe, yesterday. So we'll have to see if Bitcoin is able to have that rebound. I have IBIT up here, and I mean, sure, there's clearly that bit of that double top resistance around roughly around that 73.5 level when we tried to make that all-time high again on Tuesday, but there are higher highs and higher lows, so we'll have to see what happens here. There's clearly some support as well below at 54,000 that Bitcoin's hanging on to right now.
A bit of a move down there for futures, both the S&P and the NASDAQ trying to bounce right now. This is Coinbase, just back to yesterday's consolidation throughout the midday there. Decent-sized tank, worth noting, after the close, guys, here on Coin yesterday.
Yeah, coin obviously is going to move. It's not going to move exactly with Bitcoin, and it's not like a MSTR necessarily. And the miners are a little bit different as well. And I think that leads me to IBIT today because, you know, sometimes it's great to have some kind of like a proxy play or an individual equity that you like. But you know what? If we're going to break out above 69,000 and make a run at 70 again, then might as well just be looking at Bitcoin directly and that IBIT 39.5 that we're just mentioning. And if I'll zoom it out so you can see a little bit better, but you know, it was shelf to breakaway to now like a couple of days worth of shelf here. So if we get through 39.5, then we'll sustain a break through that 69,000 level. And I think there's some room to rally here on BTC. As Mitch said, I mean, both sides seemingly are positive for it a little. Many would argue that, you know, Bitcoin's going to like a Trump win a little bit better. But at the end of the day, both sides are going to spend a lot, which if you're printing more money, part of the appeal for Bitcoin. So I think either way that works.
Yeah, I like that IBIT. I was going to have a look at, I mean, I like that 39.50. We've actually traded off that level before. I think we had it. Yeah, it's right here. Look, yesterday we actually wrote down 39.50 short sale there yesterday. So good level there. We'll have a quick look at that. Mara, to me, is a little interesting because, again, you're going to have that short float situation. And look where we are on Mara, right down here at 15 again. So this is, again, last time it was down here, we thought this was a good buy. So it's down here again. So I think it's a good buy again. Hey, Fabian, what's going on? What's going on, Fabian? Fabian, what's going on, my guy?
What's up?
No problem. Right down here, 15, I think, is a good little level right there to possibly buy. We talked about this. Look at this. Yeah, no problem.
I mean,
me and Neil are very, very similar.
Obviously.
You know, so there it is. 15, 15, 15, 15, 15. All right, so as you can see, 13.50. Okay, so we just got out some more Palantir. Palantir just ripped back into 75. So Palantir just touched the 50-period moving average again. We are still waiting at 83 for some random reason. Here it comes, and there it is again. There's the big trade of the day. Continues to happen right here. Palantir back near highs of the day. PLTR continuing to sort of rip faces off. So that's a good little out right there for us. I love that $49.50 area. No reason other than it's $50. So I do have an order in my long-term account. Well, actually, it's more my swing trade account, but this stock I've been held now for probably 2 years and change anyways. But as Palantir continues to go up, that's going to be a level for me to sell. As we trade through, though, I'm starting to get out now. The one thing that we haven't talked about is the imbalance. It's a 1.35 million buy imbalance right now for Palantir. So that's pretty spicy to look at that. But again, I'd prefer it not even have an imbalance or even a sell imbalance because right now it's kind of going up. And I think that a lot of the run up could be due to this. And then it has like a little bit of a hangover off the open. So if it does have that hangover, we're going to look to see in and around that 48 now. I mean, we wanted to play VWAP. We had written down 47.75 is where we wanted to get long. That's exactly where we are long. But a place back into VWAP, I like that too. So there it is, man. HIMS was a big stock, man. A lot of people made some money on that one yesterday. I think Sharif was actually trading that one really well yesterday in the midday. So HIMS, another mover today, up 6%. So wow, chill vibes. If Palantir gets to 59 today,
59,
then I may or may not be in tomorrow. All right, back over to the desk.
SMCI coming up tonight. Yes, we are higher, but if you zoom out a little bit on SMCI, get a better picture. If you missed this day, the auditor essentially said they want nothing to do with this company, which leaves the question, even after they report, do we trust anything that they actually report? We'll see. I mean, there's also this business update call coming up along with these earnings today?
I've been saying to basically everybody off screen, I'm more excited about the business update call because I think that could potentially be more revealing than the earnings themselves. That's scheduled for 5 p.m. Eastern, but it's worth noting when they initially announced it, they said it was going to be on November 5th, 2025, which I think says a lot about the SMCI situation right now. Analysts are looking for 51 cents per earnings per share. They're looking for revenue of $6.52 billion. So we'll see if those estimates are actually met, exceeded, or missed, but that's what analysts are looking for. This SMCI daily chart says it does a lot of the talking.
Yeah, tried to bounce yesterday, came back in at the end of the day, but we are holding, guys, where we found support yesterday.
Yeah, that they'll actually have earnings is a story, but yeah, that you want to see how they can respond to all the allegations. Let's be real. You know how the earnings go. At least you're getting a report, but you got the short seller report. You've got an investigation going on here with them. So there's a lot to be answered for at 5 o'clock. Obviously, it'll be after the aftermarket show. There's gonna be a lot to decompress tonight. I think there's a lot of risk obviously baked into this name. That said, it's given you every single time it's popped. You've got to feel like there's going to be at least a few people looking to de-risk in a situation like this. So when it gets to any kind of key level, now yesterday it was 28. You can't make this up. The day before it was like a 29 hold, and then this high is effectively 30. So looking at all of these even dollar levels, just double check here. Yeah, so looking at all of these even dollar levels for some fades. Now it's not if it was SSR today, short sell restricted, I'd be looking for bounce plays, but I just want to be waiting for it to get to those crests and look for reversions. And I have to go pay for locates. They're not free on SMCI. I did pay for Funware and DJT in case I need them. They'll be super dirt cheap on SMCI. But I feel like it gets to some of those even dollar levels, and I'm just going to look for scalp trades, maybe reversions back into VWAP. I feel like there's going to be some people looking to de-risk on any kind of pops on SMCI. Just be careful. If you're holding on to this one in the long term, I suppose it's gone down so far. Maybe they have a good response tonight, but the risk is tremendous here.
Yeah, so for me, I only want to look long on SMCI today. It's up today. It's much better than the market. I don't think they can say anything worse than what people already fear, which is, you know, I mean, we're down. I don't want to know what people fear, to be honest with you. Maybe that's a bad statement, but we're already down here. How much? From 49 is where this thing came from. So 40. So you're chopped in half already. So let's just wait to see what the story is. I wouldn't want to be caught short this name, not today. So, you know, for me, I feel like the only thing they could do is report numbers that would be good. Like, how bad do the numbers have to be for this to go lower? You know, so let's just wait to see. I mean, it's more about, to me, the earnings almost don't mean that much. To me, it's more about, I see Palantir's come back into 48 here. Again, it's a good thing. Like, we just got out $1 higher, actually. So we'll have to wait to see. I'm going to go over to Palantir in a minute, but SMCI, I think this is a long. So $25, $26, somewhere in here, a long for SMCI. So that's what I'm looking at there. I would rather be long than short heading into tonight.
One more to go here. Boeing still holding on to a bit of a gain here, but giving back most of what we saw right out of the gate this morning. We got to almost 160. Did touch just above 160 initially, but the trend is southbound. If you missed it, yeah, strike is over. Deal has been done. More than 59% of employees approving this 38% wage increase. Darren and I were just having a conversation of the fact that if they were willing to pay this much initially, why would they spend so much on the strike itself and the time that it took to get to that point anyway?
And we both kind of came to the conclusion it might have been so they could put some pressure on the union, because apparently union delegates were actually telling the union, just vote for this. We're not going to get any better. Yeah. If anything, they might actually give less. But apparently there's also improved health benefits. This strike resolution certainly could not have come in a moment too soon, though. Yesterday, Wells Fargo lowered its price target on the stock to $85. So it's certainly a lot of pressure. Let's see if Boeing can finally, I guess, lift off here with that resolution here.
I mean, the past couple of days have been a little bit better anyways, but we'll see if we can hold some of these gains here, guys. Is there a trade today?
As it can hold on to 157 for like 1, 2, 3, I don't know, 5 or 6 days in a row now has been a wall. And I guess waiting until they got a deal done here, maybe to take out that wall. Now it's gapped above without any real test of 157. So I think you might have to weather that storm at the open, but kind of all clear. The 50-period moving average on the daily also sits down here for Boeing, so it has a chance to close above the 50-period for the first time. I mean, it kind of did it back in August. Let's be real, it barely did. The last real time it was there was in July. So I think a close above that 50 looking pretty good. It just has to hold on to the 157. So once it's, like if it falls through 57 on a more granular look and cannot hold on to prior high yesterday, then I guess they want to sell this one off here on Boeing. But yeah, as long as it's over 157, I'm looking dips into that price and takeout of the top here on Boeing. Only looking longs unless we lose yesterday's high at 156.5.
Okay, we're reloaded. Palantir came back into a level. We got 47.91s right there as a dip buy, and then we just got some out there at 11s or something, and now you're up here at 48.15 on a reloaded position now on Palantir, but we only put back on like 10%, like barely anything. Like I said, remember what I talked about with this imbalance? I don't like to see it when it's here like this, so that's why I took it out. Like you can see my average price didn't really change, right? We were long at 47.75. Now we just took another little bid there at that level, so now we'll wait to see where we go from here. A little bit of a reload, another 5% right now for Palantir. Nothing worth going crazy for now on PLTR. So there it is. SMCI is that sell imbalance. There it is. So now at 925. So get ready. It's going to give me the opportunity to get long. DJT with a buy imbalance. So that's starting to go back there to the upside. Apple small sell. That's going to do nothing. All these numbers now are relatively small. I mean, Google. See, there's just no volume today on. Oh, that's Google. Okay, so that's not Google. Let's look at Amazon right now, another name that could have some volume in it. I mean, this name continues to fall off of that $200 level that we've seen. 197, 198 has been the top. I actually like a buy on this name, and this could be another one of those sort of election-sensitive names as well.
Alphabet?
Amazon.
Oh, Amazon now.
Coming through there as, Trump has said some not nice things about it, but in the past. But who knows? So anyways, there's Palantir. So that's the big one. Just coming back in a little bit. We did buy some more here on the dip. Our average price was 47.75. I've now put back on about 30% of what we had in the initial trade. So if it works to the upside, great. Let's just hold out. I told you I thought that it was a little bit, we were trying to get out if we broke through 49 there. So we'll see if we can do that one more time, but Palantir is coming back in. So be careful, we're right at that level again here now today. So with only 3 minutes left, quick check on DJT. I mean, these are gonna be the names, and I know it was obvious, right? We all have, and someone said that in the chat, I think it was David said all the names are the obvious ones today. And I think that's right. I mean, I think that's the way you're supposed to trade. You're supposed to trade names that have reasons to do something. So today, DJT has a reason. Hello. Palantir obviously has a reason. Boeing I like is on the sticky note. Oh, I didn't get to say. So my bid on Boeing is 156. I'm just bidding right here. So yesterday's sort of levels that were bouncing around in the PM trade. So I like this 156. If by chance we could dip back in there, then we'll take that. If not, we'll relook at some levels as the market opens. But most of the levels that I talk about are just ones that if we get to there, let's react. And then once the market opens, you'll hear me start to say, okay, I like this, I like that, and we'll start to hop into it again. I didn't really look at NVIDIA today. Unfortunately, I probably should have. Just so much on happening. I don't know. Maybe I'll leave this one alone. But if there's going to be a long, it's always NVIDIA. So this will be the one that I like coming through. I'm going to put some more offers upside now. We're still 20 cents back in on the money here on a reload. So let's put something out at 98, then something out again in the teens, and then we'll see if we can get higher. So there it is. So we get a 98 there, I believe. We did get that fill there at 98. So see, just as quick as this is Sharif's sentence, as quick as you like. 48 right there. So in there and out a little bit as it's dancing around Palantir. Only a minute and a half. Be careful with this one, everybody.
Yeah, and quick update. Palantir was 1.5 million, 1.3 to 1.5 million to the buy side. Now it's a 600,000. That sell imbalance on SMCI is either really small or now gone. So SMCI no longer the sell imbalance is going to be there. There was one last, just very quickly, I wanted to go over HIMS. That's about the only one I think that I was interested in that we didn't get a chance to go over. But if you're watching Palantir SMCI, you might want to watch that. And if you have the balance locator, HIMS is downward trending after the earnings play. So I think it has to now pull back into 21. Had it been putting in higher lows, simple breakout at the top would have been a nice one for us. But unfortunately, it is now trending down. So I need this one to hold on to VWAP. So Boeing is just chilling 157.5 with less than 1 minute to go. IBIT looks like it wants to make a run at that 39.5, and Palantir, which still has a buy imbalance, is underneath VWAP. I said if it's for myself, if it's underneath VWAP, I want that 46 level, which was essentially its prior highs on the daily, and it's where support came in the aftermarket. So if it does come back, I'm looking for that 46 dip. As you mentioned, NVIDIA, it's hilarious. NVIDIA actually just made a little bit of a spike. Not really looking at NVIDIA today, however. I feel like in big cap tech names, Tesla and that 250 going to come into play. And look, if Amazon goes into 200 as well. But the bell, today's Tuesday election bell, brought to you by Firefly Neurosciences. So let's revolutionize brain health and get started right now. Ring it.
All right, let's do this. All right, so we'll watch a couple of things here to start with. DJT opened at 37. Palantir is not open yet, so be careful for that one. Yeah. Not open yet. There it goes. Now open, Palantir, it looks like. So down, so big spike into the downside there for PLTR. We take a little bit of a long. We'll see if we get something out in the 70s, but nice little long trade there, potentially off the open there for Palantir. And there it is. Oh, I laugh, but it's not that funny. I mean, it needs to continue to go higher. So we'll take a little piece out there on that dip buy in Palantir. Needs to keep going, man. We wrote down 46.75 as sort of the kill spot for that one. So this trade could go wrong, and if it does, it'll be in and around there. There's the IBIT break. So we are now long on IBIT, breaking through. Both of us actually have this name now, IBIT breaking through 39.50. So let's hope, for our sake, that this one works.
Yes, sir. So yeah, I've been making the break is, well, I mean, Sean already covered that one, so is what it is. We're going to go quickly over to Palantir. It did bounce off 47. If it can regain VWAP, I will look to get in off of VWAP, but underneath that, still going to wait for 46. Boeing, one more for you. Boeing actually pulls back, holds pre-market.
Yeah, big trade
for now, pre-market lows at least. So it's bouncing off that 156 and head higher. And NVIDIA is absolutely running to the upside if you're watching it, because the NASDAQ is flying at this moment. So NASDAQ flying pretty much at the highs of overnight. I am just in IBIT here on that breakout trade. And then Palantir, still not in it. Not really moving off of 46 yet. I want to see some confirmation that you're bouncing off this 47 before we engage.
All right, so we just wound up having a pretty good trade on Boeing there. We bought that 156 and got it out up here as Neil was talking about it. Now you're starting to fall back in a little bit. So we still do have a piece on, so this could go the other way. Here's Palantir right into 47. So we were waiting out for this 46 and change area. We're long at 47.33 here on Palantir, so hopefully this can hold out. It's getting a lot of volume, man. Watch out, because that dip spot, maybe 46, I just don't want to dig too big of a hole. I'll get back in it, but we do have to flatten it out if it breaks through that 46.50 area. Probably a little bit too much risk there. And oh boy, fire off the hot dog cannon there for IBIT, because that's starting to go to the upside right now as well. So a good trade here on IBIT as crypto, 69.6, 69.7. Trying to go. Let's see if crypto can hold the day, because for me right now, it's not Palantir doing it. Palantir's falling the other way.
Watch out for 70,000 when it comes in, or if it comes in, I shouldn't say when. You're $300 away from that 70,000 level. So obviously we're trading IBIT. You got to look over to see what Bitcoin is doing.
Oh.
It is powering up. Just got to 39,670, I should say, and ticking off a little bit. So we did take that breakout. Now you're starting to absolutely fly. As mentioned, the market super strong here. Tesla and NVIDIA were both running, and we said be patient on Tesla. Well, Tesla not at 250. So again, like yesterday, I wasn't too early. I don't care if it curls here. The 250 and the 255 levels are the ones to watch as far as I'm concerned. So preaching patience, which means I'm only in IBIT, but suddenly, guess what's rearing its head?
Boy, go ahead. Palantir, is that what
Well, I knew you were going to say, yeah.
Yeah, man, yeah. No, Palantir, we are now. Wow. Palantir right now, that's, dream catcher, dream chaser. I mean, this one right there, Palantir, what a trade off the 200 period moving average. It falls right into 47. And at the end of the day, man, let's just keep getting some out here, but let's hold for that big trade. And it's a big trade alert on IBIT as well. Like, this was not something that we just sat around and just, we took some shares on this name. We like the trade. Holy crap. Right now we are starting to light it up, man. Real traders, stand up right now, because this is a big one right now for Palantir. This is exactly what we're talking about. This is why you come in every single day and trade these markets, man. These are catalysts. These are the names you want to trade. And it makes me real happy when things do what they're supposed to do. And that's go to the north side here when you're long. So there goes Palantir. This is Neil. This is a absolutely monster trade. Congratulations, everybody, on this Palantir tip, man. This is a big one right there. Thank you for checking out the sticky note. Thank you for checking out the watch list. Thank you for checking out everything that we do here at Trader TV Live. And just come back every single day for more of this excitement.
All the excitement out here. What a huge move to the upside. Oh, my goodness. Tesla's going to get very close. One quick update for you on IBIT here, as it is starting to find a little bit of a curl off of 39.7. Because you're getting to 70,000 or close to it, I think a pullback makes sense. If we do get VWAP, if we do get a reload off of that $0.50, I want to go back into this one as long as we're on trend. So only in one trade as we speak. So far it's working, and got to preach patience if you're looking to fade anything. I know we mentioned DJT. DJT hasn't really done a heck of a lot of anything. No dip in 36. It's now holding VWAP, however. So the trend still good on DJT. Big volume spike at the open. It's trying to hold on to VWAP. I want to see it either close above VWAP or wait for that 36 level. So just got to preach a little bit of patience here with Donald Trump Jr., as Sharif likes to say. Wild morning so far with this market blasting.
No.
You can't even go wrong here. But DJT and Nothing Burger so far.
Wow. I mean, this has been one of probably the best morning in a very, very long time for me, and just in general, I would think here. Look what Palantir is doing, man. Now $1.25 on a monster reload down there to the downside. So that's been a good one. And look what Boeing's doing as well. Can't believe we got that dip actually in Boeing. That was a pretty good one there into 154s. We got a piece out early and was able to hold. So far so good here on Boeing. But let's get a piece out right now at 36s if we can, and put another chicken dinner winner on board right now. We don't want to get too carried away with this. I'm going to get out another piece right now on Palantir up here in the teens if we can. We just had a monster run on this. I would love for this to continue higher, but we are now out of probably about 65 to 70%. Again, we had different amounts of shares coming through there, but let's get into, there it is. Yes, sir, we got a 15 out right there. Okay, what a big day. Right now it's 9:36. If I didn't have to do the show, I'd get out of here, but we're here for you until 11 when we've got Sharif and Joe coming back on. But this is what trading's all about. You take the trades you like, you put the risk on, and that's a wrap early. This is what trading's about, man. Take this trading, secondary income, boom, there it goes right now. This is enough right now to be done, but there's more to come. Take advantage of what's in front of you right now. Boeing $1.50 in the money. Palantir $1.40 in the money. IBIT 15 cents in the money. This is $3 in total right now in the money, and that you've seen live trading. So it can be done. Trust me on that one. Let's go over to Adara.
We have Astera Labs here, ALAB. They reported earnings last night, beat across the board, getting some price target increases from Craig-Hallum and Barclays, currently up about 27% with a roughly 9% short float. We also have GME on watch here. GameStop up about 1%. Not seeing any news on this, but nice volume pop to the upside. So keep an eye on GME. We know this one has a tendency to run, guys.
GameStop today? That seems a little bit rando. Gotta admit to you, I don't know if I wanted that one on the radar, especially when you've got too many other names capturing a little bit of attention. So we might not see VWAP again. I like 46, it went 47. I like VWAP, it goes 48. Ooh. So if it breaks out the top, it's just going to be a top break as long as it's above VWAP. As we said, IBIT's trying to pull back in. We'll wait for VWAP to get down there. And then DJT, it's still trying to hold and break out the highs. It's very close right now, 38.40. I'm looking for a 38.50 because I don't like a 38.40 breakout, but it is now holding trend to the upside on DJT. Above 36, only looking longs. That top, I have 49 as the top. I think it's actually 40s, but I'm still waiting for a 38.50 breakout on Donald Trump Jr. It does look like it is consolidating a little bit.
No junior.
Oh, DJT, yeah, sorry. Donald John Trump. You know, yeah, my bad.
No.
So I want that 38.50 break. I do have eyeballs on NVIDIA, but the thing I'm actually the most happy about is just not being in a Tesla short. Because was there any curl, was there any entry off of 250 that would suggest you'd be short? Absolutely not. So we don't touch it with a 10-foot pole. Don't want to fight it. Now 250 has to come into play. So solely in one name we like to the upside that's set up, and 1 for 1, but Tesla got to wait for 255. It's flying now.
Oh boy. Yeah, for me, maybe a little bit of a different story over here. This is now $1.70 right now on Palantir, and we're in IBIT. GameStop is popping right now. We can look at that again. I mean, this Palantir trade is an absolute, like, there's no better. We actually wrote down, you guys aren't gonna, you're not gonna believe this. Well, you probably are because we do it every day. Or what this price is what? Play what? $46.75 for an early dip. We wrote down on our sticky note, where's Lars? I got to get some campus people to listen to this. $46.75 on a dip. It went down $46.87 or something there as the bottom. So, I mean, that's going to be pretty much a perfect setup for us. You know, we talked about the hangover that could exist off of that imbalance. Let's just keep clearing out a little bit here and then just watch to see what happens. And again, very, very proud of this trade as well. IBIT, you know, put our money where our mouth was on this one and took this one long and have the position that we wanted. We always want more shares, but what are we going to do there? Wow, Palantir just continues to go. Now we do have FXI. We just took this one against 3250. This is a level that we wrote down, but honestly, we are over the moon right now with what's been happening with Palantir. Wow, here it goes, man. $49. Are you even kidding me right now? So we'll take a piece out now at $48.87 there. We just grabbed that one. And man, the sky is the limit here for day trading with real trading for this account as we continue to go higher and higher and higher. Huge monster on PLTR. And then we've obviously both got IBIT. So, I mean, we're going to go 4 for 4 here, but nice moves up. IBIT or FXI and IBIT really starting to go now. So good trade over there, Neil. But wow, this Palantir is really, really starting to get it very, very exciting here, up to $49.
I don't know if you got to look at the 49 offer. I did not. No. I was suspecting, you know, maybe there'll be enough shares on there to pull it back into VWAP. I don't know. It's probably a million. No, never mind. I just saw it. It's going to chew that like a hot knife through butter. I'd say about 250, 300,000 shares are on that bid. Tesla through 250, doesn't get to 255, but if I like a level and it busts it through, I like support turning into resistance and vice versa. So Tesla here at the 250 level, going to look to see if we can dip long on the way to that 255. The market's starting to come in pretty heavily, and Palantir is now at 49. It just went right through. So Palantir with the break. No fill, no fill, no fill. Gonna leave it in, leave it in, leave it in. See if we get picked up there. No pickup. Only crossed a 3 on that one. Not aggressive enough on the cross. Actually crossed a 3. Let's go with Eric.
Keep an eye here on PAYO, another smaller cap earnings name here, Payoneer. They do have a market cap of around $3.25 billion, so not insignificant, but definitely smaller. They beat here on earnings per share and sales. Also here, raising their guidance here and also above estimates for fiscal 2024 revenue. So PAYO, great start to the day with strong volume across the board, guys.
Oh, man. Okay. Great day. Absolutely great day. I could hear, hopefully some of the guys behind us have it. It sounds like Wayne might have it as well. Wow. I mean, this is, you know, hopefully you watch the show for trading, for insights and all this kind of stuff. But like these are the trades that, you know, we had Mitch on, you know, Palantir, all me and Neil, Palantir. So there it goes, man. Huge move to the upside. And I just said, oh my God, if I could fill it this 49.50. See, now I'm feeling like I got to get into my own account and adjust it, but we'll sit there and watch. Okay, IBIT. Again, because we have more shares, we're trying to get out of some of this here to the upside. For myself, I have a decent sized position, and we're going to try to get that out. We did just give up and go flat now on Boeing. So Boeing actually breaks lower right now, and not very happy with that play. But we did have that there. So we're actually going to be pretty break even on this stock, which is kind of crazy because we got into there, but that was a decent size, and we didn't reload everything. So when it came back to the upside, we were able to get out and then dropped it down. So our average price was around 155, I believe. I should have checked that out. But there goes Boeing. I said if it breaks 154 and turns red, then let's get out of that one. We have way too much money here on Palantir on these great trades. to have worried about it over there. So here it goes, nicely done to the upside here for PLTR. Neil, it's 250 right now in the money. So this is a money bag yo trade. That is for sure as we continue to go higher and higher and higher, right up to that 49.50 and almost stopping on a dime. So
did you put it at 50 or at like 49, 47 or something? Really
49.50. I didn't think it was going to hit it, but it looks like we might get there. I also have an off. I just got out on our rate here.
It just printed
for some rate there. I got, well, I think it printed 46s. I got 40. I got 35s, but I'm also waiting at 50 flat as well. So that'll be, wow, what a trade there. And then IBIT, guys, come on right now. This is another. Awesome. We are over the moon right now today. So again, thank you so much to everybody for watching, and thanks for supporting the channel as we continue to put up numbers.
Yeah, so I actually left my bid in when I didn't get the breakout at 49. Actually crossed to 5s, it looks like, and didn't get filled. But I left the bid in at 5s and we're able to pick it up on the way back in here. It just tagged 40s. So in at the break of the high at the first even dollar after the 49 break. But let's go to Adara. We've got economic data right now.
Slightly lower than expected S&P Global Composite PMI here, 54.1 versus the consensus of 54.3. Slightly above, though, the previous print of 54. Then we get the S&P Global Services PMI, 55 here, also below estimates of 55.3. This one also below the previous print of 55.2. So a lower than expected S&P Global Services and Composite PMI here for the month of October. Market not reacting too much to this, continuing to push higher. We have the NASDAQ up about 2/3% right now. At 10 a.m., we'll get more data. Most chief among these numbers here is going to be the ISM Services PMI. So after the S&P, we'll get ISM at 10, guys.
All right, I mean, here we go, man. Glad Neil joined this party for sure as we break through 49. Good call on that one. Here we go, man. Oh boy, what's up to Chill Vibes? What's up to everybody that was like, man, if Palantir can get to 50, man, that would be a dream. It's not a dream, my guy. Wake up right now, everybody. Wake up, America. Go get those votes in. Then go give Alex Karp a high five. There goes Palantir up 20%. And by far going to be the biggest stock that's been traded here in a hell of a long time. So there goes Palantir. Huge move to the upside, continuously going. Bitcoin, these trades have really worked out today. The trades that we talked about there heading into election and some possible moves here. So Palantir, again, earnings play. I know you were in that DJT. That's a good one. We'll see about FXI, which we're in right now. Just a quick little update, though. If FXI breaks through this 200 period, we're gone. That's 43s, 44s. We will be gone on that one. But I'm not even, like, right now, nah. We'll just wait to see what winds up happening right here. Palantir just continues. I'm going to take another piece right here. Why not? I mean, we could take millions of pieces on the way up as it continues to go. So we'll continue to do that one for you and just continue to have a great time here live every single day. What's up, Sebastian? What's up, Chill Vibes? Luis, everybody there in the chat. Congratulations to everybody trading there today, especially these names. If there's anything else you want us to look at, let's call that stuff up. I mean, I know Neil.
I saw someone just said
on DJT.
Intel, any news? I haven't heard anything on Intel. I haven't looked at it in a bit, but one quick update. IBIT has managed to hold on to the same trend the whole way. Right now, if it loses 39.7, I'm going to cover half and look for that VWAP retrace. VWAP retrace works right back to 39.50, which is exactly where we had the entry. So I think that's going to end up being a key level. I know we're going to go to Darren in a quick second, but I got to update quickly. Twice on DJT. First break, no good. I have a 3-minute, not a 1-minute. First break, no good. Second break gave us the 39.5, but now you're putting in lower highs on DJT. And then one more update on Palantir, as it's a very steep upward trend. At this point, then the next offer is going to be at 49.90 something, probably like 96 or 97, somewhere in before that 50 level. We'll wait for it to actually challenge that even dollar. Let's go to Adara.
Really nice pop here for Intel, and there actually is news. It came out basically right at the open, right around 9:29, which is likely why it got a little bit lost here, but up about 2.3% at day's highs. We have Digitimes alert reporting that The CEO of Intel, Pat Gelsinger, apparently paid a, quote, brief visit to Taiwan, met with the chairman here of TSMC, so Taiwan Semiconductor, to help finalize their 2nm and 3nm production capacity for 2024 and 2025. So Digitime's reporting this, citing industry sources. Basically, long story short, Intel CEO meeting with the TSM chairman. So keep an eye on INTC and TSM with that in mind, guys.
That's why we have it there. So that explains the 2% on Intel. Watch out that $38.50 level. It's going to be a big one for sure. This 23.5 resistance on Friday, couldn't even touch it. We'll wait for that level. So IBIT's at, like, Bitcoin broke 70,000. Remember we said 70,000 might be a little bit of a, might have been resistance. Well, last out in front of 70,000. I put a trail in case it pulled back off that level. Instead, it's broken out. It just got to the 40. We're going to take another leg out in front of 40, in 39.5. Now you're touching that 40 level. Tesla, you know what? Tesla not really, it's not pulling back into VWAP. It's not testing 255. So the difference between today and yesterday is, hey, I'm not forcing any trades in Tesla early. Got to wait for 55 for any reversion, and then 250 was the key level. So if it's not going to dip back into that, then I don't need to be involved in Tesla just yet. Still a strong move, up 4% here on Tesla, above north of that 250. I think it looks good. Nvidia is having a strong day as well, but I don't think that's the thing that people are concerned with right now. You know, Nvidia is a great stock, but I think we're going to get hopefully this 50. Did we come all this way not to get 50? I'd like to think that's unlikely, but we just curled at 49.89 up here. But I think we're getting to 50.
Yeah, I'm speechless.
Upstart, fantastic move here, up about 7% for UPST. Sustained volume. It's worth noting a firm doing something kind of similar, but up about half this amount and with less volume. I'm not seeing any news here on UPST, but Upstart, Affirm, and SQ or Block Inc., all three of which are in that payment space, actually all report after the bell on Thursday. So keep an eye on these payment names about 2 days ahead of their earnings report. It's worth noting they all have decent short floats, especially Affirm and Upstart. Upstart here with a short float of 32%. Getting a lot of social media attention here without any catalyst, guys.
I mean, still speechless, but
Better than
IBIT. I mean, let's go. Put those diamond hands up and let's see what winds up happening here with IBIT. All the way through 70,000 on Bitcoin right now, trying to break through $40. Here goes IBIT. So we're going to take a little bit more out right now on that name and just like be really happy with what's been happening so far here today. FXI trying to hold out hope. All right, DraftKings, a name that I always look at. Most of the time I'll look at this name but won't trade it. It's going to be up today. The NASDAQ is really rocking, so that's really good to see. What is the ES doing right now? So both indexes up nicely here on election day. So I want to say congratulations, everybody. We are finally here, election day, and I was watching some of the news outlets yesterday calling this, well, every single candidate, of course, calls it the most important day in U.S. history. It
always is, every time.
Yeah, I think there's probably more important days in the history of the United States, but it might be the most important election to date, and then the next one might be the most important after that, and so on and so forth. But as you continue to see movement in the polls, I guess, and we don't have any numbers in front of us or what's been happening. I don't even know. I guess it's 9:52. I think here in Canada, the polls generally open around like 7 a.m., 8 a.m. local time.
I don't know where they open.
But DJT right now is really starting to go again. Like it just came up to that $40 mark. We talked about it earlier today when I said if you're long into here, I think 40 is a decent spot. So if we come over here, Ramin, quickly, we'll just show this DJT chart, and then right into there. So there's 39.60 as a top there for Donald John Trump. Shout out to my good friend over there, Sharif, who will be here on the midday with Joseph coming through very, very soon. Okay, so IBIT, great out on IBIT. Let's go, boom, boom. We'll see what happens now where it goes. I'm going to take another piece out here at 88 or 89, so whatever we just got there. Nice little move out there on IBIT. So we are starting to get lower and lower. We only have 10% left right now of IBIT. Okay, Palantir, we don't even have 10% left of Palantir anymore. So that just kept on going up. We are a little bit speechless. Whenever that happens, we exit our trades. So we have a bunch of outs up here. 83s, we have 90s, we have, 87s as an out right there. So we have an out 2 pennies from the high, and we have a bunch out right here in the 60s for Palantir. And in fact, let's just take another piece out right now at 50 on PLTR. So yeah, I mean, we're to the moon today and really happy with everything. FXI is not really trading too much there as well. But, you know, that's going to be another name to watch out for. And then I said, let's have a look at Amazon, but I wanted it at 197. And as I say that, it's at 197. So some chill vibes. Yeah, I think Palantir can go and break through that 50. I mean, it wants 50, right? So we'll wait for it. And I don't have any offers on Palantir at all anymore. So we did have that great dip buy there today, and we took advantage of it in spades. Like this came into there and came into there, 47.30s. Then we got 47 flats. We were waiting at 46.85. I just canceled that order. So that would have been, wow, if that would have came in. Oh, I actually did come into 80. It did come into 85. So, all right, well, we just got missed there, but that's okay. Nice move to the upside there for PLTR, making it go up right there. I'm online with you and Neil in the background, LOL. People are looking at me like you're nuts. Well, if... you know,
that's fine.
You're nuts, then join the club, because I am pretty much the craziest one around. Ask my wife, I guess, but not my kids. My kids think I'm not that crazy.
That's how it should be at the end of the day, man. The parents have a go. You can do anything, and they worship the ground you walk on. You can tell unfunny jokes, and you're gonna be like your Jim Carrey. That's
no. I'm mocked at my jokes.
Really? My daughter, I will say the worst.
My kids don't.
Horrible, disgusting dad jokes, and my daughter will just start laughing at it like crazy, which is amazing. By the way, Bitcoin just lost 70,000. iBit's not trading at 70,000. But you know the rule for me. Once we make a breakout trade, put it on trend, I took it out in front of 40, there's the trend line. Once it closes above, I'm going to take more out. So I'm now holding on to the last 5% of the trade, looking for the dip trade opportunity. And I'm always going to do this. If I'm not going short the stock, when it breaks the trend after the breakout or off of the morning trend, then I want to make sure I'm dipping out. A reversion trade into VWAP makes a lot of sense. Let's see it get down into that 39. It's 39.5 that was a big breakout price, but 39.6 in VWAP, also a place that I want to look for a consolidation. Palantir, the only update here is it didn't really dip very far. When this broke that trend, I took some out, but still holding on to the last 5% and waiting for that 50 touch. I feel like we've already gotten the 50 touch, to be honest with you. I mean, when it goes 47 to 49.89, you don't quabble over the fact that it didn't get there by 10 cents. Effectively, we did have a test of $50. So at this point, it's got a huge range on it. It's not ridiculous that it could pull back into VWAP. Now, I don't like 49 all the way to 48.5. So if it loses break even, I want to wait for VWAP and then make that trade as it comes. I guess Tesla's not going to go to 255 anytime soon. It's pulling into VWAP. So if I like 50 more than I like VWAP on Tesla, the $250 level is much more significant than the line on the chart, right? Like it's been a resistance, so I want to look for that as support. Let other people try to buy the dip at VWAP. I'm going to look for that 250 level as the key one here on Tesla. So IBIT and DJT still, and IBIT and Palantir still going. Out of DJT, that'll be my red one today. But I've only traded those 3 names. Amazon, I do like for short still. But yesterday, all you had to do was wait. Like it held trend up, had to wait for it to do a big reversion trade off of that 197. I was in it early and then missed the mean reversion trade. So this time I sit out the opening range, let it make the trend up, and now if it wants to revert it after the opening range is set, then I can engage in the shorts. Just difference in execution. I like the same area, but I'm not going to make the mistake of yesterday where you're in it too many times and then you miss the one that's the perfect one. So letting Amazon do its thing, it hasn't busted through. Now you have some higher lows to work off of. A couple more minutes and we'll have that first 30-minute range set on Amazon for a little mean revert.
All right. So again, you know, we'll sort of pat ourselves on the back for some IBIT trading right here because it did hit that level and we started to cash out a little bit there. We watched Bitcoin take 70,000. We were actually talking about it when it hit. So, and then I told you we only had 20% left of that trade. So nice move back in there as it comes back down. So we're getting less and less. Now we only have 17% left of that trade. All right, FXI went 4 cents in the money. I was like, oh, 4 cents in the money. Okay. But then I went and realized that that was VWAP. So now we have an offer here to get out at 58.59, just to get out at 10%, and then a little bit higher into 60s if we can get that. They get another 10%, and then I'm trying to get something out up here realistically, 65, 66 for this trade. But what a day it's been here live one more time. It's about to get even better because we have our friend Randy showing up right now with the good stuff. Thank you, Randy, for that one. Yeah, man. I mean, I don't know if we've been drinking like some, I'm not sure if we've been drinking some magic potion here or not lately, Randy, but we're hitting the keys at the right times. And we're the piano man here. Yeah, my bad. We got I got to film a couple things today. I got to find some examples of RSI apparently. So we'll be doing some RSI things. Yeah, we've done later on.
Some good stuff coming through that we're going to be giving out to you guys on Learning Bits. We're talking some RSI. We've talked some moving averages. Speaking of moving averages, they point up on Palantir. Shocking. Let's go to Adara. It's happening now already.
Yeah, what's happening?
ISM Services PMI, previous print here of 54.9. It's interesting, the consensus 53.8, but a forecast of 54.8, and the actual number comes above all of those at 56. So again, we got a print of 56 here compared to the previous print of 54.9, forecast of 54.8, and consensus of 53.8. So 56, the actual print here. ISM Services business activity for October, lower on a month-over-month basis, 57.2 versus 59.9 previous. Higher than expected ISM Services employment, 53 versus 53 versus 48 expected. ISM Services new orders, 57.4, lower than the 58 consensus and 59.2 estimate, And ISM Services prices, 58, slightly above the consensus here and well above the forecast of 54. So key number here, though, is going to be that above estimate ISM Services PMI, 56. Versus the consensus of 53.8 and the forecast of 54.8. We have the NASDAQ now up a whole percent ahead of a really exciting day and generally a week for the markets. This election today is not the only major catalyst. We do have, of course, a few more earnings coming through and the FOMC decision for November coming in on Thursday at 2 p.m. So keep an eye here on these markets with all of these catalysts on watch, including crypto actually breaking its losing streak now, toying with that 70,000 level once again. Boeing on watch here, ending the 7-week-long strike. They did accept, we have its machinist union representing over 30,000 workers accepting this new contract, which allows for a 38% wage increase over 4 years. Also on watch, of course, with the election is going to be DJT. That's not the only sympathy stock to watch out for here. We do have TSLA as well and PHUN that are making moves to the upside, guys.
Another name making move to the upside. Intel's very, very close to getting to that $23.50 level from Friday, where it effectively triple topped. I mean, 23, 35, 40, and then the 50 level up here. So if it gets there, wait for it to get to that price. Look for another reversion. Now, forget about the trend from there. I want to look at the trend from the first pullback, which will be at $23. So big, steep move up. Intel, Gelsinger, meeting with TSM officials. Palantir did just do another topping tail candle for a brief second. Like it tried to run the high, could not break 49.90. So I got another leg out in front of the 49.65 level. We're at the 49.69 level. So we're at one more fill. Now we're going to hold into the 50. It cannot seem to get to VWAP, the 49. Which was a breakout trade initially. I didn't actually get the break. I actually got it on the way back in. But the 49 breakout hasn't really taken you to 50 yet. Now we hold for a 50 breakout. Probably going to have a bunch of size on there for a breakout on its own. Amazon, patience being a virtue with Amazon. It's now creeping, and setting up that little mean reversion play that we've been waiting for here on Amazon. So the uptrend since VWAP, if it closes underneath, then looking for the reversion on Amazon and give to the local high. So just about being a little bit patient with this, as the market has been screaming higher.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I don't have much happening right now. We're going to be huge today. We're going to be 3 for 3 with a flat trade on Boeing. I mean, IBIT right here, FXI, we're going to try to see if that can go again. We talked about buying 30. I mean, so just to review why the day is where it is today. So we put out here. So at 8:30, we put out IBIT breaking 39.50. So that's 1 for 1 there. And then we wrote down here as well, Palantir, 46.75, look for an early dip buy. We did that perfectly. Boeing was wrong. We were able to get in 156, get out for about 80 cents on about 25-30% of it, then fell back in. I'll review that trade for you. And then there's 32.50 long for FXI. And then Neil's been trading or made one trade there on DJT. I'm going to look back at that because, again, another name to have a look at today, DJT. But all right, so there's FXI. Just talk about that real quick. There's 32.50. It's the bottom of the day. The problem is our first fill, I didn't take it until 50. I took it at 56 and we fell in, trying to protect that level. I thought it would be maybe a little wilder of a day for this name and we'd get more than a 5-cent move over the first half hour. But that's not happening at all. Let me check out what Alibaba was saying. Mitch was liking the 99 long, I think, that he was holding for a couple days or something. So he can't be that happy either. That touches 101 and falling back into 99. So I feel that all over the place. Oh, damn. All right. I mean, Palantir is, we just took, oh, I thought we got another out there. We're at 89s to get an out here for Palantir as it just touches the day's high again, man. Yeah, just what an event that's happened. There it is. Money. All right, now it's breaking through $50 goes Palantir right now. We're in the money $3 on this $47 name. So an absolute monster trade to make this to the upside here on shares. This is making probably the week, and we're happy about that. So let's go over to the desk and find out what's up with the dare and come back and watch Palantir at 50.50.
This part of the show is brought to you by Firefly Neuroscience. Firefly Neuroscience has taken a bold step in advancing brain health technology. In collaboration with Bright Minds Biosciences, Firefly's innovative AI-powered platform has successfully analyzed data from a groundbreaking phase 1 clinical trial, using advanced EEG technology to track brain activity. This data unlocks new potential in treating neurological and mental disorders, reinforcing Firefly's position at the forefront of brain health innovation. As they prepare for phase 2, this partnership signals exciting developments for the future of neuropsychiatric treatments. Firefly Neuroscience, shaping the future of brain health.
There it goes. And shout out to Firefly. Thank them for that. But 99, 98, 99, the high now. It's about to break through. Palantir is about to break through 50. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, go to level 2. Yeah, it was a big size there.
Yeah, it's a million shares is actually not that big today. But it's still a pretty decent chunk in here. 68 million on the session. I'm just sort of counting it up. There, you can kind of see it when it flashes to 50. About 900,000 shares sitting on the offer. But when you've done 68 million, there'll be some in the dark as well. So I would suspect, it's going to do much more volume than just a million shares when it breaks through the $50 level. But that's going to be a big one. 49.20 could be a nice little dip area, but more like the 30s is where the 30s and 40s is where the volume came in. The 50 break imminent, but IBIT is back to VWAP. So let's get over to IBIT. We broke trend, got some out there, still holding the last 5%. It's 39.50 more so than VWAP. That matters, at least to me anyways. But if we can hold on to this, bounce, want to look for reloads. But as people get out on VWAP, I think that can give a bounce opportunity off of this 39.50 on IBIT. Tesla at 52.5, not quite to 53, and then Amazon. Amazon starting to do that revert. It actually did a huge reversal candle on this little mean reversion here. So when it closed, it was already at the low. So unless it gets back up to 197 and above, don't really have an entry unless it breaks underneath VWAP for Amazon. Not chasing a move like that. So looking at this VWAP retrace on IBIT and Palantir still, I guess it didn't break. Just tagged 50 without breaking. I thought it would see the level and then just maybe bust it the first time through. Usually that's when a stock's is strong. A lot of times the second they see it on the offer, people are not waiting to get stopped out. They're hitting that and using that exit liquidity to be able to cover when they're trying to short.
I got it. I got out at 49.97 right there. So I'm just going to continue to watch it. We did get out some more IBIT as it goes. IBIT's going to be the number 2 stock, obviously, today. for me, and then we'll watch FXI, and then we'll have to wait to see if we do ever get back into Boeing. But here's the big one right now coming through. Again, I'm going to watch it try to break through this $50 level. I'm going to put in, again, I'm going to put an offer up here just north of 50, like $50 and maybe 10 cents or so, for when we do get that break and people try to punch in and miss it or whatever, then they're going to just chase this thing all the way back up, because here comes Palantir right now. I could be no more relaxed, actually. So we'll wait to see what happens. If it breaks it, it breaks it. This is going to be really good. I mean, I can't wait for the second day trade, third day trade, so on and so forth here with Palantir as it goes. I mean, we got some out at 49.50 on our own account. We got about 5 or 10% of that one. So we're happy with it. Could always get better. We talk about that, and we'll try to be better traders. But for right now, I feel like we're really seeing the market amazing. Money, 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 money. $3.30 now. There goes Palantir. Thank you so much, Adam, and everything like that. You know, you guys can see these trades. I just think that this is just one that's set up perfectly. We talked about waiting for dip buys. We showed examples of those dip buys, you know, and it came in. So I don't, know what else to do. The only one that did not come in was DJT. And it's now breaking through 40 and continuing to go. So let's go. Sirens up for Donald J. Trump right now as that continues to go higher and higher and higher. Wow, to the moon right now. DJT continues to get going. Nice move, man. And watch Bitcoin right now as well. Oh boy, the day we're having now. Oh boy. Oh wow, there's some size there on Palantir as well, but yeah, it's nothing. It's going to just rip through that anyways. But there it is, IBIT trying to get back into 80s. Let's take out another piece right now. I mean, this has been an NFT kind of trading day for me, man. If I could just sort of look at all these fills, and we have way too many fills up here at 48.50 for Palantir. But honestly, man, I mean, I'm not going to complain anything about what we've been doing here today. So I just said that, Sean Fry. You're right. I don't call in sick. I mean, if I was sick, I would, but we haven't been sick in probably 3 years. We have 0 sick days. But we may call in sick for another reason tomorrow. You are right about that one. So we'll wait to see what happens with Palantir. And you're damn no way in hell I'm not coming in tomorrow, guys. When you're on this kind of a streak trading, there's no point. You should be coming in every single day anyways. That's what I've always said about all traders need to be in and at their desks at all times during the day. All right, I'm going to get out another piece there on Palantir. Man, oh man, today's a good day to be a gangster, and that we are on Palantir. So let's go, chill vibes. Let's go, everybody. Even Neil's got this trade on board at 549. So great trading. FXI, IBIT, everything really starting to work out for us today. Banner day for me.
Yeah, it's a big banner. Is that look? The market's turning and Palantir isn't. The market actually curled at 1% on the Nasdaq, but there was, and I know you said there was that size on the offer. The second I saw it, when the 50 broke, I was waiting for somebody to jam something, or it looked like there'd be the first area of selling. So I got some out at 23s on that first push. It just got to 44. So $50.50 now in play. IBIT bounced and I got 39.78s out on IBIT there. It is making a little bit of a shallow bounce on IBIT. Yeah, I don't necessarily love that wick. It didn't give me a chance to reload at 39.5. It didn't really give you a consolidation off of VWAP. And then it got up here to this 39.8 level, and then immediately the selling came in at that lower high. So took another leg out of IBIT as you're continuing to rally. Palantir is the one that's just going and going and going at this point. I don't want to ignore the chip names, everybody, but wasn't really planning on any trades for the chip names. NVIDIA holding trend, looking good, up 2%. Just to recap for everybody, AMD holding trend, holding VWAP, up almost 2% as well. AMD, its first green. Hopefully its first green day in a week. The day is not even close to done, so I can't speak for how it's going to end up. And then Intel, with that news of Gelsinger meeting with TSM, it doesn't quite get to 23.5. It got to 23.35. I said I wanted to be more patient, looking for any shorts today. I'm happy that I'm not in any of them, but this might have been a missed opportunity for that pullback into Intel. If we do get back and retest that high, I can look for some shorts at that 23.5. So we'll see what happens next. I mean, Palantir has not really shown any signs of dipping. I think if you're looking for another dip buy at this point, 50 is probably the obvious area. You're so detached from VWAP here that if you get to VWAP, you'll probably have made a decision or two before then. No longer looking at a 49 or a break even out. Just going to set up a new trend line there on Palantir now that you've broken through the $50 level. If we lose the trend on the break of 50, then I'm going to dip out of this trade. It's already given pretty much everything you want, and you're looking at a blue sky setup on that daily chart. So still going to the upside here is Palantir. We're going to hang on to it. And then IBIT, I want to reload it, but I want it to be on my terms, either consolidating off VWAP or giving us some higher lows. The break got you to where you wanted to on 40. Let's see 70,000 actually hold above on Bitcoin, which hasn't happened yet. It's still resisting 70,000 on the way up.
Kind words. Thank you, Kevin F., for the sticky note, the kind words on the sticky note. I appreciate that if you're in our chat. Thank you so much for that. All right, so 350 now in the money. So still, man, still continuing to go higher there. And yeah, man, I'm very, very focused on one stock, apparently, and one stock only. All right, I'm going to take another. I'm just going to put this back in. And then if it drips out, man, I mean, honestly, at this point, if FXI just loses for me, it loses for me. I'm not going to worry about this anymore. So I do have I might as well cancel my 34 DJT bid, right? If we get a 50 fill, we'll take that. We were going to drop out at the 200 period. I'm going to now switch this to 45s as my trigger out. It was at 40. Right now we'll go 45s on FXI. So, 32, 44. If we break that, 100% of the position comes out as we hit enter on that trade, and watching out for that. I saw someone in the chat ask me, I'm not even going to look. I mean, I wish I hadn't looked at Palantir for forever and we still had all those shares, because then we definitely wouldn't be here tomorrow. But someone said, what about Google? All right. So I don't, the Mag 7 stocks, or however many there's in there now, I don't really like them right now. There's so many other things happening in the market. We've seen DOJ, FTC, all these guys and sort of that come after Lena Khan and so on, come after some of the mergers and acquisitions and things like that. And I just would rather wait to trade these names after we know who's in office. I'm not sure it's going to necessarily change the trajectory of any of these names, but Google had a great quarter and has been getting hit every day since. Tesla, another Mag 7 name, great quarter, hit every day. I mean, it's up today, but before today, hit every day since their quarter, right? Netflix was one stock that we don't talk about enough because we don't trade it, but again, another name that we've talked about here. This name, here's its earnings day, and it's not that it's got down that much, but it's still, held those bottoms, but here's earnings, and then back down from earnings, not above where it was on its earnings day. Amazon is one of the names that's held up here. That's because it's only day 2, but again, earnings day, touches 200, falls down in. Yesterday we were at 194, and today feeling good about the market, feeling good about everything, catching vibes. So Microsoft and Meta and Apple, I think that story, we've told that a little bit as well, as these continue to be low, and probably great buying opportunities, but at the end of the day, there's earnings, straight to the downside for Microsoft. They didn't even get a chance to go up off earnings. Apple, I mean, we heard that Warren Buffett only has Crimea River,
a bajillion shares,
$70 billion worth of Apple. Okay, so maybe that's going to come down, but where's earnings on Apple? Oh yeah, right here, downside for Apple. So anyways, my opinion on all of this is stay away from all the Mag 7 names as far as investments are concerned. Look at some of these other ones that have earnings plays. And, I even, the chip names, I think, continue to work out well. You still have NVIDIA earnings coming, right? So that could be another sort of shot in the arm for that sector. And then someone asked me yesterday, calls or puts. I talked about it because we were short this name yesterday. We made more money on Palantir today or yesterday, obviously not then today, but just as much yesterday going short. And then now today, obviously these vibes hit good and we make it back. We were making like 30, 40, 50 cents short. Today, obviously, 350 in the money long is going to be a little bit of a different story. So, all right, I mean, that's it. It's only 10:17. I feel like this day is getting longer in the tooth right now. Maybe it's because it's party time, but nice move there. I'm excited. I got to go home and we start our winter training sessions. And then we're home at it's a crazy day because we're home at 8:30. Well, it ends at 8:30, so I'm home at 9. And then the daughter's got to be up tomorrow at like 5:36, be back on the ice. So that's going to be wild. And then I'm going to watch out for this, or the election all night. And then we're in here tomorrow for an Italian bank show. We're doing a show for an Italian bank. That's tomorrow at 7. So we have lots to do tomorrow. And we did have, earlier on today, of course, we did have Mitch on from Trade the Pool. So
Speaking of which, Sean.
yeah, oh, you're going to do it? Go.
Well, that's fine. I already had it up.
Yeah, go.
Speaking of which, Trade the Pool allows traders like you to get evaluated and trade real shares using the company's capital with no PDT rule holding you back. That's a real edge in trading. And here's the exciting part. Trade the Pool has just launched a limited edition program for stock traders. For a one-time fee of just $97, you'll receive $20,000 in buying power. All you need to do is reach the profit goal. The best part, this limited edition program now has a reduced profit goal and fewer minimum trades required to reach the funded phase. Plus, the profit split is upgraded. Keep 70% of the profits. Don't miss the chance to explore this limited time offer. So shout out to Trade the Pool. Shout out to Mitch there for joining us and sort of talking about and reiterating the point. Like, what did you want to look at today? I mean, Bitcoin has made a nice little rally, although we're pulling back into VWAP. Obviously, Palantir, as I look up, is still holding trend up above the $50 level and look very good. Before we go, I know we're going to have a Dara for a small cap recap. I haven't really touched on SMCI. I paid for locates on SMCI looking for all of the even dollar smoke, and none of them came in. 27, 28, 29, 30. I was looking pop and fakes. I thought the market was strong, and I thought there'd be some buyers going into earnings, and there haven't been. So it is trying to make a bit of a bounce here off the previous low. But if this thing can't hold on the opening range bottom, any consolidation underneath here into a 25 break would set up a 25 play down into 24. VWAP retracement in play, I suppose, into 26 even. But I think I missed this one for the short trade, but that's fine. Yesterday I was too aggressive looking for shorts. You know, today you make it going long and then being very patient. And if it doesn't set up, you don't have to take it. Let's go over to Adara because we've got the small cap recap.
Into what could be a key area here for that IWM, seeing some support at that 221.30 area, rejecting 222 still. So that's, as we know, been a bit of a recent level of support and resistance, or at least of interest on that Russell 2000. High of day right now, just above 221.80. So let's see if we're able to eclipse that level on what's been a really big day, currently up about 0.2%. We have SPPL day 2 move here for Simple. Yesterday we didn't have a clear catalyst. Today we do. Apparently announcing this plan to regain NASDAQ compliance with a float here of under 5 million shares for SPPL. Then we have Zyversa Therapeutics, ZVSA. Zyversa has run in the past. Today though, forming a little bit of a bull flag with some support resistance, a bit of a range after this run up, basically announcing that they have this positive data on their treatment here for this pancreatic disease related to obesity and type 2 diabetes. So keep an eye here on ZVSA with no obesity-related treatment news. Last but not least, we have this one, BJDX. It's Blue Jay Diagnostics, $2 million market cap, no catalyst for this one, which is up more than 100%. And it's a penny stock, guys.
Hey, I mean, penny stocks can move too. It doesn't matter. As long as it's moving, it's going to be worth it for a trade. Day party experience. Thank you for the super chat. Appreciate you, their day party. Hopefully you're having a party as well. Happy voting day to everybody. So shout out to everyone down south where we're in Canada, so we're not voting today, a little bit later on in the year for us. How does win look today with the downside move? Should I accumulate and hold long term? We're not here to necessarily give investment advice. I know in the aftermarket show, I was looking at that $90 level. That was for the bounce. It was confluence of the bounce at 90 in the aftermarket show. It was both the moving average and the expected move took you right to 90 even. So it's a 50-period moving average. Sorry, that 50-period moving average is where it had bounced to, and then also the expected move took you to that level. But now you're starting to fill the gap in. You're underneath the 50, underneath the 200 on an earnings move. The next key level is sort of, I want to say obvious on the chart because you can look back to August at about 82 and a half, and then you had a nice consolidation before it broke out going into September. So I feel like that's the next place. I don't like stocks that are underneath the 50 and the 200 period moving average personally, unless I really believe in it fundamentally, and I don't know enough about this one to make that kind of a call. So technically, it doesn't look good unless it can close back above the 90, but it's day one after earnings. Let's let this one settle down. Certainly a lot can happen in the next couple of days. We got the election tonight, you still got the Fed coming on Thursday. So let this one settle down. Losing that 200 doesn't look very good at all. Ramin is telling me to look at the poll. So did you go and vote? So obvious what I would answer here. So if you want to be in the poll here, you want to be in this chat, make sure you hit the subscribe. It is a subscribers only chat. So obviously not in the USA would be the answer for us here. 44% saying they did, 20% not. Well, I mean, regardless of what you are, politics doesn't matter. Regardless, I mean, voting is an absolute privilege. You know, we're lucky to live in places where democracy reigns. So as long as you do vote, you know, do your duty. I think it's more important that you do vote than who you do vote for. Be part of it and participate. And then we can go back to trading. So IBIT just lost VWAP, but 39.50 is still holding. BTC's under 70,000. It has been trending down. I feel like the last leg that we're holding on to needs to show a nice little rounded bottom off this 39.5 here on IBIT. I want to go back over to Intel, which is now re-challenging that same high. 23.50 is the spot I'm looking for a short. I think it's getting very close to that curl as we speak here on Intel. Just letting it get to that price. It hasn't gotten there yet. One break of the high of the day, and then it will be there. Amazon held VWAP, so that's not necessarily going to be a trade. And as I mentioned with SMCI, I guess it hasn't really broken that low just yet. You're actually getting a nice little hold off the opening range bottom. So either it pulls into VWAP for a trade or breaks down underneath here for a 25 break on SMCI. It is not SSR because it wasn't down 10% yesterday and only down 2% today. So, I mean, if it does break 25, that would be an even dollar break that you can actually get.
Okay, not bad. All right, maybe I can use this as an example as well. Okay, so I was just looking here at Palantir. And the thing is that I called up some relative strength index, and if you see something right here, I might start to use this a little bit more. This is the 75 marker right here on RSI, and you can see that again, this is gonna indicate overbought, oversold conditions. And I mean, last time we were up here, we sort of based out a little bit in and around that 75, and then right now, just this last sort of a top right into here on the RSI was around 50-50. So we're starting to get more, I mean, obviously, but I'm going to get another piece out right now at 23s. I just actually punched 23s there. I might have got 24s. But that was a good piece to get another third out of what we had left. So another out right here on Palantir up near these highs. So again, a good little real-time trade example there on Palantir of what we're trying to do. IBIT, I mean, let's go, man. The chef is cooking in this one. We talked about, you know, when we only had 20% left, when we were getting out. We only had 20% left up here. So all of these outs are just little baby outs, but it is trying to pull back just a little bit here now on IBIT. Let's check out our flat stock of the day right now today, and that's going to be Boeing. It's funny that me and Neil both have IBIT and Palantir, and then I have FXI right now. And I think you mentioned the stock. You've only traded.
The only other one I traded was DJT.
Yeah.
It's only three. It's only three.
So yeah, we're, you know, it's going to be a big day because we'll basically not wind up losing anything on FXI. It seems like. I mean, I don't know. What am I long at? 53. It's like, come on. This is just not moving. So a little disappointed there. The name that, and I know it was Neil traded this, but this was the one. I feel like right now we sort of did miss an opportunity. I had looked at 34s for a bid there because I thought there was that chance that we could drop down 10% and possibly enter a halt mode, but that did not happen. It actually just went from 38 to 36.50, which is halfway there. So, and then boom to the upside. So now IBIT. DJT looking to hold this 38.50, which is VWAP. So 38, 38.50. Like these are great levels now because now you have the 200 period here at 38 and a 38.50 with VWAP. So really good levels here to work with. And wow, good out there on Palantir. We got out of a third of what we had left. This is real trading. Like those of you guys that are out there, man, stand up for these kind of decisions. Like This is the stuff that makes a difference when you are able to take these out. So good job there. You don't want to be stubborn and hold this all the way back in, of course. That's not going to happen, but nice trade there on Palantir. Unfortunately, we got some out on our own account, 49.50. Looks like I could have been a little more greedy and went to 50.50. Small piece, though. We're not going to worry too much about that. But yeah, Palantir, nice trade, pulling back into the 50 period. I think you want to go long if you get back into 49 again, but that would be a trade that probably I won't be here for. I've got to film some stuff. Then if I have time, probably go out for a walk or hit the gym again, and then be back here for the close, and then real quick after show, man. Like I got to be in the middle of Mississauga here for like 6:15. So real quick after show. So Ramin, you must be doing the after show. Yep. So that'll be a real quick one. I haven't had a guest on the after show in like 2 weeks, but today we'll welcome back Brian Shannon.
Yeah.
So should come back there tonight. So that should be a lot of fun coming through there. Brian Shannon and SMCI should be fun.
Well, SMCI,
and the rest of it.
SMCI reports tonight, but I think I don't know why they're not calling it an earnings call. You can look at our watch list. I forget the something business update is what they're referring it to. That's not till 5 o'clock for SMCI. Right. So
that's the big one.
Yeah, I think the big thing is I don't think it's going to matter too much unless somehow they have some ridiculous miss. But it has to be some kind of a huge aversion of expectations. The call is going to matter. How do they respond to all of these allegations? And can they reassure the investors? I think that's the important thing, and that's not going to happen until 5 o'clock. So you got the election tonight. You have that. First short of the day, I want to get to the futures. I already said Intel, either 2350 or mean reversion first. So the first dip, support, there's trend, close underneath, break of the prior bar low, got short at 16. Actually, I was trying to get 17s and 18s, didn't get them. So if it comes back up, I want to look for something in the 20s. But the NASDAQ also finding its first little dip here, but not a huge range. You're up 1%, but not much of a dip. So mean reversion back into VWAP here on Intel. And let's go over to Adara for the crypto update. Why can't we just hold 70,000?
Not.
Right now, actually, careening towards 69,000. When I first pulled up this chart a few minutes ago, we were around 69.7. As of right now, trying to hold on to 69.3 for BTC. We've heard a lot of different and seen a lot of different takes on what Bitcoin will do after this election today on November 5th. We had comments from Mitch from Trade the Pool this morning. Michael Naw spoke about it yesterday as well. I'm also reading comments here from this Bernstein crypto analyst saying that Bitcoin apparently is likely to be in the crypto space, the name that benefits the most, regardless of what happens here to the election, though this analyst does see in the immediate weeks after the election a potential to fall to 50,000 should it be a Democratic victory and a rise to 90,000 should there be a Republican victory. However, this analyst believes that as long as the SEC is crypto-friendly, should be a positive outlook regardless, and that could actually happen on either side of the coin. So right now, what we need to see is a hold of 69,000, especially given that this level has been a little bit of an area of interest, going back to resistance on October 20th, so a couple weeks ago. Bitcoin here, as we said, trying to hold on to 69.3. Ethereum actually down on the day ever so slightly, still above 2,400 for now. BNB slightly positive on the day, Solana up about 1.5%. Dogecoin, which had a pretty strong day yesterday, along with Shiba Inu, up about 10%. Shiba Inu not bad here either, up about 7.5%. And Cardano, which sold off yesterday, up about 2% today. So really mixed performance as people head for the polls, guys.
Yeah, and as people head to the polls, and make sure you do that. I said, why can't we hold on to 70,000? Part of that was because they just never set up the re-entry trade for me on IBIT there, but I'm now out of the 39.50 breakout. It just took out the local bottom. If we come to the chart just quickly, so I want to maybe be able to explain. So there was the break of the 39.5, that prior bar. It's the only red candle you have until we hit 40 right in here. Well, okay, there was like one little tiny one in there at 39.70, but it was about 39.40. That was the out. I actually didn't end up moving the stop. No need, because we had a trail out when it broke trend there, and then the VWAP bounce kind of rolled over at 39.80, but now you're underneath that 39.5, and it's been downtrend since it hit 40, or since it attempted that to hold over the 70,000 breakout on IBIT. So you're still looking for buyers on Bitcoin above 70,000. They're not there yet. So Intel just pulled back into 23.05. I want VWAP retrace here. The market is still very strong. Intel with news of Gelsinger meeting Pat Gelsinger, the CEO, meeting with TSM. So good look for them. That's part of the reason why they're up more than NVIDIA. I mean, all the chips are up, but if you're looking for a reason why they're up slightly more than NVIDIA, it's because there was a new story with Intel. Usually you'd see these guys leading the pack. NVIDIA strong today, holding on to VWAP, as is AMD, but the real story has been all morning long Palantir. It had been IBIT, at least until now, that IBIT pulls back underneath that breakout price. Well, that's pretty much all we're looking at. We got into Intel as a new trade. Amazon, I never really, was looking at Intel in that moment, but Amazon, the real break should have been here, but it was a heavy candle. You had to get in without it closing underneath. You had to kind of take it when it broke, which is not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the close underneath a break of trend and then enter the trade. And it never really gave you that setup here on Amazon. And Amazon's holding on to VWAP as well, which puts it relatively strong. And SMCI, the last one for you, it's cruising toward that 25 break. So it's close. It's at 25 and a quarter. I'm going to take a shot at this breakdown. We had to pay for locates here on SMCI, but they've been fractions of shares pretty much every single day. So when 25 breaks, we're going to take it.
Okay, so I'm not going to be out of IBIT quite yet. We've made a lot of money on this name, so I'm going to try to stick with it. It's down to the 200 period moving out. This is what we used for our good friend Palantir before, which we're pretty happy with. So right there, nice move here for IBIT. So let's just see if it does pull back out. Again, really, really happy with how we discussed this trade so that all of you guys can maximize how much you made on this. We only had 20% left after this move to the downside right there. And then we only had like 7 or 8% left, and now we'll reload some more down here. I mean, that's how you could tell that we didn't have that much left, is that now on the reload, my average price changes to 39.40, and we just bought 39.30. We bought 39s and 37s right there. So I'm just going to hold this until it breaks. So if this breaks like this little level right there, 25s, then we will get out of that. So 39, 26. This is the first time I put a stop in for IBIT today. But we did get fail. And part of being honest with your trading, right, is like, it's one thing to say that, you're having a good day trading. It's another day to have a good day trading. I don't want to let this thing turn around against me. And all of a sudden, a good day trading is not, and it's because I'm hiding like how much I made or lost here on FXI. We did not take that many shares on this name. We talked about how disappointed we were that it had a 5-cent move in the first half hour. So we didn't do anything there. We put back that same 10% that we got there, and then we lost an amazing 7 cents right there. I just went up, refilled. So Hydration Nation will let us refocus right now. Take a sip of water, and guess what's happening right now to IBIT? There it goes, man. IBIT right now, nice trading. Back into the money one more time. Wow, Neil, what a trade there on IBIT. Banging it off the 200 period moving average. We're back in the bill. I mean, we're here. We're going to be at the highest spot we've been at all day. I want to make sure that everybody understands that I use eSignal. I've been using eSignal for now over 22 years. We want to thank you, eSignal, now for sponsoring our show. Make sure you do click on that QR code there below. And we have now, I shouldn't say sponsoring, we're now affiliated there. You click on that QR code, you get that 30-day free trial. Let them know you came from Trader TV Live. You can connect over 50 plus brokers, very easy to use platform. You can execute from the charts. You can automatically set your execution spots, stop orders, limit orders, hot lists. We talked about that yesterday on the show. All the uses that I have for those, the hot list, the volume rate, the trade rate. Again, it's just the customizability of it, how easy it is to use, the dark mode, all that kind of stuff. Very, very interesting for eSignal. Go make sure you check it out. The most powerful and, for me, the best system out there. But we just put, like, I said it was a good day on IBIT, and we just reloaded this and then did this right back on it again. So we'll see if we can like double our net rate here on just a very, very simple reload. Hey man, if Bitcoin continues to go to the upside, let's do that. We're here. We're here for this trade. So now it keeps going back up to that upside. We did not get out of any more Palantir on that little bit of a bump up, but I think maybe now let's take a piece out right here, sub 50, and then we'll take something, there we go, we'll take a 49, and let's put another piece right there at 50.20 again and see if we can get that. It's 10:37. Great day. I hope all of you guys are also making some bank. I bought some Berkshire yesterday, and I just want to check on it. I have no idea. This is seems like it's like an insurance play or something, kind of tracking those indexes. So we'll wait to see. We did put some money out of Amazon yesterday and into some Berkshire. We talked about why. So we'll see if that one can work out. We did cash out at 49.50 of some Palantir. We've got out of some SMR. I'm just talking about some trades that we've been in recently. SMR long at 12, out at right here, 18.50 we got out at. We did not get anything out at 20. Alibaba has been a recent trade of mine. We were long in the 70s and 80s. We got out at 117, believe it or not, right there on the after show, 117.50. Debating buying some back right now. Haven't done too much else. We got out of some Tesla there. We talked about that on earnings day. We always try to get out of some of those plays. Did not get out of any Google as that went all the way to the upside and then faded back out. But I'm in the long game for this. And then NVIDIA was a recent buy, but not a recent sell. So I'm thinking about maybe if we can get back into 143, 144, probably happens by the end of the week. Then we'll get out of some of that as well and just sort of regroup. But again, I don't have nowhere to put my money. So, I know where it can go. It just goes to my kids. But that's and that's honestly, that's part of why.
That's where the stocks go.
I try to, that's where, I can't pay for stuff with stocks. I can have to sell them and then pay for them. So right now, having one kid is great. Having three is expensive. So maybe Neil could. Well, again, that's part of the problem. Everyone out there that has multiple kids knows what I'm talking about. Multiple kids, fun but expensive. But
especially when you got to pay for that the Taylor Swift tickets.
You got to support them. Don't even get me started on that one. Those are running for $4,000 right now, nosebleeds.
So we're gonna go to Sector Watch, but because we have season tickets to the Blue Jays, offered all season ticket holders, you could just buy.
I almost bought season tickets for that reason.
You could buy a couple, so we sold ours to a friend, but because we sold to a friend, we're not gonna sell them. We get sold for a profit, but we didn't sell them for the profit that we could have sold them for. Taylor Swift tickets, they go for a grip. And let's see what else is going for a grip with Sector Watch. See what else is going higher, but probably nothing more than DJT.
What's up, JSO?
The sector board is very green, as is the market. We're going to start with sectors here that are strong across the board. Retail trade here, very few red names to be seen. Finance especially strong here, producer manufacturing. We have consumer services, we have consumer durables as well, communications, industrials, health services, all really strong here. Now, some sectors that are lagging a little bit here, a few more red names are more or less flat, include health technology, consumer non-durables, and energy minerals. Energy minerals especially notable because this one has tended to have huge upside or downside moves. Today, kind of chopping around. We haven't heard too much here in the way of what's going on in the Middle East, so without any huge catalyst, we have a little bit more subdued action right now in that oil space. Consumer durables is certainly going to be on watch here as well ahead of the election. TSLA is being viewed a little bit as a potential election sympathy play. So that's certainly something to keep an eye on here. And the technology sector, it's actually worth noting here. Lots of strength in general in electronic technology, but INTC outperforming NVIDIA here on a percentage basis. Vastly different from what we saw yesterday with NVIDIA to the upside and INTC to the downside on the Dow Jones switch up. Intel, though, up here after a DigiTimes alert report that its CEO, Pat Gelsinger, has met with the chairman of TSM with regards to production. So the semiconductor space could get pretty interesting, guys.
Well, I'd say it's already pretty interesting, the semiconductor space. And look, we talk about earnings, but as Sean mentioned, NVIDIA doesn't even report for another couple of weeks in here. I think exactly 2 weeks tomorrow. It'll be 2 weeks tomorrow that NVIDIA reports, so it's not exactly still a $3 trillion company. And temporarily Intel is having a stronger day. But at least I'll go back to the Intel trade. It bounced off 23. It'll end up being a flat trade for me. Did not break through and get down into VWAP. So when I only got one leg out, I only got 1/4 out, and then it comes back in and then takes out 23.20. So mean reversion trade on Intel, does first bounce, does not get to VWAP. We'll pay some fees on Intel, but I like the patience with it at least. If you're going to try and short a stock that's trending to the upside, you should at least be a little bit patient or not do it at all, Tesla. Although Tesla did pull back at 53, it wasn't 55. So no trades for me on Tesla, but it's SMCI that feels like it's going to be next. About 15 minutes to go here until we get to 11 o'clock. We'll throw you to the midday. But SMCI, it's hanging on at 25 even. It's broken through lows. has not really made a press into yesterday's bottom, but you're now underneath. Let me just zoom in here. You're underneath that support from yesterday. You're underneath the morning range top. So consolidation underneath that resolves with a break of 25, and I think room to get to that low. Any break at the low of the day at this time of day is always going to be a relatively tight stop. It's not a short sell restricted move where I wouldn't take it at all. If it was SSR, I wouldn't take a break down to 25 even at all. But because it's not SSR, I'm going to look for a 25 break. Give it about 11 or 12 cents. I guess that's depending on the price we get. I'm assuming I'll get 97s or 98s to the downside here. So it's at the quarter mark. It's not there just yet. And then Palantir, at this point, it already tagged the 50. I kind of took some out on the trend break here, and then out in front of that breakout of 50 even. All that's left is a VWAP retrace for Palantir. And if it can come back in, it's about 49.20, but I think you got to maybe give it back into 49 or those prior highs here, just underneath the 49 level. So we'll see on Palantir if it does get to VWAP. Chill vibes, SMCI about to be a penny stock. That's a little bit extreme. I will make a bold prediction, which is not bold whatsoever. SMCI would never get the chance to become a penny stock. Anything that would take SMCI to penny stock status is probably going to get it delisted before that if the worst ends up being true. So I don't think you ever have a chance to trade it down there. But 5 o'clock tonight is going to be big. Aftermarket show is going to be a banger because you have all the reaction to Palantir, you have all the reaction of the earnings plays today, and then you'll have a little bit of election preview. But that 5 o'clock call for SMCI is going to be gigantic. There's a lot weighing on that. Obviously, it's gone down heavily into this. So you'd like to think if they can assuage some of the fears, there can be a nice little bounce. But that's a long way away.
Okay, I just wanted to. I don't know how to. I'll get it figured out. Okay, so I just without. All right. So quickly, IBIT. I mean, what's up, hey Davis and everybody out there? I mean, I'm not trying to do anything other than trade this, and there it goes. I mean, thank you again for all the kind words about this. But yeah, IBIT is starting to go back to the upside. Like, let's just wait to see what happens when it does finally break through that level, right, of 70,000 and hold it. I think we got a big winner here, guys. So let's hold on to IBIT and just see what winds up happening right now. Auto cancel off. All right, so Palantir, IBIT, we're taking some out. I don't have too much else on my mind right now. Let's just go over to other names. What about Mara in this space, right? So again, that $15 level seems to want to hold. Good run early up to 16 and change. Nice fade up to down to 14.7. So good positioning there for Mara and for IBIT in order to get long, right? IBIT was a little more obvious to me because of where we came from and what it looked like. It came down into the 200 period moving average rate there. So again, if you're looking for trades, like putting on trades, looking for all this, like these are the levels that I'm looking for, and it's been working out so far there today. It's so, you know, the names I'll lose on will wind up making 5x on, like for example, what we lost on FXI, we're making 5x on IBIT. What we lost on Boeing, we are making almost 20x on Palantir, right? I mean, this is what we talk about when we talk about risk to reward and making sure that you can stay positive and all that kind of stuff. So, I mean, I think that's important to understand as well, that even though you can go, we'll have whatever, FXI and Boeing, so they're both going to be, this is such a small loss there. And then the Boeing one was, like we had it, and then it dropped down. Like this one, we basically didn't lose anything on it. We just didn't have the right sizing. It should have been a better trade than it was at the end of the day, because picking that up right there at 154, I guess we had rose-colored glasses saying that this was going to be a good story and bringing it all the way back up there to the upside right there. But yeah, there it goes, right? So you got to, and it's not, you know, one thing that I've gotten better at is that you can't ever, you know, compare what you're doing to somebody else, because then that's how it all gets all messed up. You have to stay with what you're doing. People have different like people come into work expecting to make different amounts of money, expecting to do different things, expecting to have different amounts of shares, different risk tolerances, different trade setups, putting more money in different setups than other setups. So it's like you just gotta, you know, be what you're trying to do, which is why I remain as focused as possible on the names that I want to trade. because they're here. It's been working, and you know, some of the trades that we've been looking at have really taken off. When they lose, you got to get out of them, right? Like, there's no point in me sitting here and saying, wow, FXI, like, you know, what's this going to do? We already identified when it was in this range right here in the first hour, that it wasn't really doing anything. So we tried it against what was the bottom. Then the bottom broke right here, and we got out. Now, looking back at it, would have been nice to hold that bottom, but without that crystal ball, it's not worth being stubborn. I look over at our net, and we're at the highest spot we've been at all day right now. So at the end of the day, sure, we'll give this part up, but we refocused, we went back, and we found something that actually set up for us, and that was right here with IBIT. So, you know, we'll put that back in our pocket here and wait to see what's going on. The announcement that I was trying to make that I'm unable to get the picture for is that right now, and shout out to Ramin that's over there, Real Trading has just launched the Saudi Arabia stock market live today, right now. So if you want to go trade like us, trade on the platform that we're doing right now, you got to watch out for all of this. I'm not sure why it says Cube X here. I was under the impression that was gone. But join up Real Trading right now, and you'll be all good on that one. So trade smart, not harder with Real Trading. And we have tons of markets. We talked about that. 50 plus markets. So 51 plus markets right now confirmed for Saudi Arabia. So if you want to go dig on some of that oil money, get into that stock market, I have no idea how many stocks are there.
I thought you were going to say the Busta song.
No, we're in a good mood. We're not in that good of a mood. But here comes Palantir right now, right back up to day's high again. So we're actually acting like a Saudi prince rate today with our trading on Palantir, back up to the day's high. It's Palantir, man. It is absolutely fantastic. And really glad that we put some risk into this one today. Sometimes risk backfires, but not recently. We can, right now, it is 10:50. But again, thank you so much. Yeah, we go there in a second. Thank you so much for watching on a day like today when we talk about election, when we talk about, there's so many other things you guys could be doing. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. And again, just thank you for all of the support. And yeah, that is what we're doing, man. We do feel like Zeke Elliott right here today.
Well, he's actually struggling.
What a that's okay. What a fantastic day it has been here today. Over the moon, Money Talks, A.
The second straight significant down day here for that DXY on the daily chart. Right now trading around 103.6 and nearing that area of support we held in mid-October around that 103.5. So let's see what happens here for this DXY. This U.S. election could be interesting for the U.S. dollar. But what's interesting here is we got some economic data that I want to go over. S&P Global Services PMI here, 55 versus 55.3 expected, so a little bit lower than expected. Also a bit lower than expected was that S&P Global Composite PMI, 54.1 for October versus 54.3 expected. Then we got the number that was way higher than expected here. It's going to be the ISM non-manufacturing PMI coming out here at 10 a.m. 56 versus 53.8 expected and 54.9 prior. So well above estimates there for that ISM non-manufacturing PMI. The other print we got of note came at 8:30. It was the U.S. trade balance, slightly lower than expected, negative 84.4 billion versus negative 84 billion that we were looking for. I also want to talk quickly here about the Australian dollar versus the USD because that's getting a nice pop to the upside. We did have the Royal Bank of Australia keeping its rate policy at a 12-year high of 4.35%. This comes as a lot of global banks, as we know, including the US and Canada, have been on a rate easing cycle. So Australia not lowering those rates for now, saying that their underlying inflation remains too high. So also high right now is the AUD against the DXY or the USD on that news, guys.
There, we did get a super chat, and then there was a good question in the chat that I wanted to get to, and it's Code with the super chat. Appreciate you. All we ever ask, enjoy the show, pass on the love, hit the like, hit the subscribe, share it with your friends and family, and anyone in your trading community so you can join a great trading community here. Question, what is the worst case for SMCI? Basically what happens to shares if it's delisted. You've not seen this before. Were it to be delisted, I mean, the reason why it gets delisted is going to matter, whether or not it would go to the OTC markets or just be gone altogether. But because they are going to be now filing, at least there's the chance that that has now been abated. So it's not necessarily imminent that it's going to be delisted. That is, again, it's the worst case scenario because we'd have to find out what the reason would be for that. And now they are going to file. So they are going to be through that water. So whether we'll go to the OTC markets first, we don't know that. And I think it's a unique situation for them. I think there's certainly some risk, of course, that they could still come out of the index regardless of what happens tonight. But it's quite simply up in the air. And I think that's why there's so much intrigue with it. And there was a good question in here. Where was it? Oh, I can't find it. The question was, oh, here it is, Mark S. Can you please talk about how to move on from a trade? And I think most importantly, before getting into a trade, always have an out. It's an easy thing to say. And I know a lot of times we get that question because, or anybody gets that question because someone's now in a trade that they're holding on to when they didn't have an out. And so that's the first and most important thing. I'll give you an example here with the execution on Intel, even though regardless of what happens with the stock after the fact, my reason for getting in and then where the out is going to be, and then just stick to that rule. So my reason for getting into a short and upward trending stock was a break of trend in front of resistance. If we can come to my chart for a second, Ramin. There we go. So doesn't get to 2350, double taps underneath 2350 resistance, closing bar underneath this trend on the dip. So enter when it breaks down. My stop goes to the prior bar high. If it gets to VWAP, great. That's what I'm looking for, a VWAP or trace. Hold on to the last bit, probably usually 10, maybe sometimes 20% for a break of VWAP, but prior bar high out. So before I get into that trade, I have to pick and choose. Is my exit going to be at the high or is my exit going to be prior bar high? Because it never got to 2350, I think I want to go tight stop instead. So have yourself an out before you get into a trade. That's important. If you don't have an out, then to me, you don't have a trade. You just have like a gamble if you don't have an out. Like, what does it mean to be wrong? And if you can't answer that question, don't necessarily get in. Palantir just took another high. And at this point, the first dip since the breakout of 49 has now put in a double bottom. Unless it breaks this trend, I think just ride it as far as it does want to go here on PLTR. If it loses this trend line, I think a VWAP retracement can be into play, but always have an out before you get into a trade. That way, otherwise, like you're not really making a trade if you don't have yourself an out.
Yeah. Palantir just like 50-80 we just got some out at right there on Palantir. So, good trade there. What else you guys want to talk about? IBIT is still moving around. What are you guys doing on the midday show? Earnings on the midday show. What a good day to do that. All right, so we'll watch out for that there coming through. Let's have a quick look at Apple. Again, rewind the clock. We did it again on SMCI. We said buy that $25 dip. If you did it, congratulations. We should have put our bid there. We didn't. So I'm a little bit upset about that one because we had looked at that when we talked about this show. We talked about trying to get into yesterday where we had closed in at yesterday in and around this $25 marker. We did not get it. There's yesterday's close. So $25.70, nice little dip buy opportunity into that, right into $25. So that was definitely a missed opportunity for me. All right. I mean, 10:56. Is there any questions that anybody else there has in the chat? I mean, you know, my outs are going to look messy, but and again, we're not going to like out share sizes or anything like that. But like, I have so many shares that all of these outs right now are just like just little small pieces. And what for me, what I need to do better is try to hold as much as I can to really make this thing go. But again, here, we've made more money on Palantir than any one stock we've lost on probably in the last couple weeks. So I feel like it's well traded. You could always make more. And when you're looking over here and you're saying $51, I said I wouldn't be here if it got to $59. But even then, we'll still be here. Here goes Palantir, huge move back there up to the upside. So that's how it does. How do we take multiple trades so easily? Well, we've been doing this for a minute. And again, it's about, for me, and I think this has changed. You know, I used to trade a lot of shares, a lot of different names with lesser shares. Now I focus on very specific trades with more shares and just doing that. So that's why we had IBIT right here. We watched it, took it out, had it fall back in, bought some more. We were watching FXI today. It turns out that this would have been fine, but you know, we got out of that one, so that's FXI. And then Boeing kind of the same way. We sort of left this one. This is one that we should probably stay with because it just made a bottom again at 152.50. So right there on Boeing, a very, very good opportunity down there to the downside. So again, like, we don't show our P&L on here, so take our trading for what it's worth, but just judge us, you know, by the opportunities and by what you see, right? And I mean, I'll always tell you what, you know, where I am as far as all that is concerned, green or red, this or that. And at the end of the day, share size is what's the most important. There's nothing else that's more important than share size. So you have to learn how to properly position your trades and what that share size is. Okay, because nothing else matters. Like if you have a great opportunity, you have to identify what that opportunity is and then have sort of the ability to put on shares to take advantage of that opportunity because they don't exist all the time. You know, like right here on Palantir, I'm willing to get hit on this trade. We talked about where the stop was, 46.50. If it breaks 46.50, we're out, and it's the biggest losing trade of the day on Trader TV Live. Instead, we take it in, we believe in the trade, we take it against our research, and the rest, as they say, is history. So like that's part of what it is. You know, it's believing in that. If you just take small shares here and it goes up, that's great. But at the end of the day, you know, are you making money on that trade? Yes. Is it enough? Probably not. So that's what you have to work for. And I found for myself, and probably true of all of us here, that's the hardest thing. Because when you're wrong and you have a max default position, it hurts way more than trading like this because I don't have a max position all the way to the upside. So if you're going to load up a max position, you have to have a stop. Right back to Neil's point. You cannot take hundreds or thousands of shares and let this thing continue to drop down, which is why right here on today's sticky note, real trading sees real trading. And that was, if it fails that 46.75 area, get out. Hey, I have a new saying here. If fail, then bail. So yes. That's, you know, like there's nothing more important to that. You're going to trade small, fine. But at the end of the day, if you're going to trade big, if fail, then bail. So that's something that I think is really changed for myself. And I'm glad that I sort of thought of that. I like that one there. Yeah, so that's it. Great show. We'll be back at 2, right? I mean, let's wrap this thing up.
Yeah, it's already 11 o'clock, so like we'll wrap it up here. But try to remember, this is a big and long day. So pace yourself. Make sure you stay hydrated. It's not just like you got to learn to trade here. We'll be back at 2 o'clock. The aftermarket show is going to have a lot of trading recap. There's still some earnings to get to. You've got SMCI after the bell. You've got the election tonight. There's a heck of a lot to still digest. And then you have the post-election, which is going to be some movers. But for now, we'll send you on over to Sharif and Joe.
What a day.
The Bash brothers are in the building once again. Go get them, boys.
Yes. What is up, beautiful people? Welcome to How to Trade, formerly known as That Midday Show. Joe, you outdid me there, man, making me look bad. Joe, you're making me look bad.